49ers Cutback. It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time, and the horse is ready. He just told me so. He's more ready for this than anything ever in life.
He's right. I did just tell him.
Wow, that was dynamite.
I mean, it's just incredible amounts of just everything with this man today. So on point. I'm excited, man. We got a lot of interesting topics. No mock drafts today. I mean, maybe we can talk about our mock drafts.
All right.
And the reception, what people thought. But for the most part, no mock draft today. Just some news. And there actually is some things to talk about.
There is, because Justin Fields had a second pro day, where it was basically a private workout for, a few teams that decided they were going to go, but mainly the 49ers requested this, so this is what he got. And, of course, did you see any video of this?
I saw very little. I was at work.
Well, there's very little out there. To be honest, it wasn't televised.
He did seem awfully friendly with the 49ers during it.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign. I saw some of his throws. He looked good, but I'm not really worried about his arm. So, I mean, besides that, it looked positive.
Yeah, Vegas already flipped the odds, and now he is the leader in the clubhouse for the 49ers to select at 3.
Until, Trey Lance has his, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. I mean, it's funny how quickly things change in Vegas, in the NFL, in talking head circles about who the 49ers are taking. I mean, it was for certain a few days ago that it was Mac Jones.
Right.
And then magically people started walking things back almost as if, they were talking out of their behinds the entire time. It's pretty funny that this kind of stuff continues to happen and that people get really wrapped up and latched on to some of these things and who the quarterback's going to be. If there's one thing that is for certain, and if there's one thing that we know with certainty, it's that we don't know anything about what the Niners are going to do at 3 other than take a quarterback.
Yeah, there were a couple of things that I have saw in conspiracy theories that people are laying out there, and one of them is the fact that Justin Fields from Pro Day 1 to Pro Day 2 changed his stance in shotgun. That during the first one he had his left foot back, and that during this one he had his right foot back, and that was also something that Matt Ryan did before Kyle Shanahan got there, that he had left foot back and then later on right foot back. So it seems that they are already switching things and already maybe changing a few technique things to what Kyle Shanahan prefers. So I don't know how much to read into this, but the fact that the quarterback coach is also very good friends with Kyle Shanahan, I think it does go to show that he's definitely somebody that they could be targeting.
Yeah, him switching to something that Kyle Shanahan likes, if that's 100% true.
Oh no, he 100% switched. He 100% switched.
Is a positive sign. That and their coach is smart. He knows Shanahan, his personal coach. He wants to make him look good in front of him.
Right.
He doesn't want Fields to fall past number 3. I mean, money-wise and all that. So, but he's definitely catering to the 49ers with stuff he's doing.
Yeah, no, he definitely is. It's not a surprise that if they did make a change, that they're doing it now, especially with Pro Day 2. That was the whole purpose for Pro Day 2, was in some regards and in some respects to get Fields ready, and give him an extra opportunity to get exposed to specific teams up in the top 5, top 10 area who are going to be going quarterback. It sounds like that the reason behind it was for specifically Shanahan and the Niners. And it looked that way too, with all the photos circulating and every 49er fan page that I'm in on Facebook absolutely going crazy when the picture got released of Shanahan and Fields looking all chummy and bromancing it up there on the sidelines. Do you think that was an intentionally leaked photo by the 49ers to try and drum up interest? Or do you think that was just a genuine moment caught on camera?
Well, actually, believe Ohio State was the one putting out all this stuff. There's actually video of them being chummy together and laughing, which a lot of people said they've never seen Kyle Shanahan do with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Ever.
I don't know how much we can read into that. There's also the Scangarello video where he goes up and he tells Justin Fields, like, hey, you need to chill or chill or whatever. I think he's saying just slow down or whatever, but I think that there's a lot of people that are just wanting to read into every single thing that happens. I think nothing has changed as far as we still have zero idea, because when Trey Lance's pro day comes, and I know we're going to talk about it later, but if these same pictures and videos come out of Kyle Shanahan acting the same way with Trey Lance, then, I mean, what are people going to think? Does Trey Lance now become the leader in the clubhouse? I know a lot of people are already starting to read into the fact that there's no Zach Wilson pro day coming, at least not so far. So maybe there's no chance. I don't know. I'm getting to where it's like almost tired of talking about it because I have zero clue what is going on. You're just trying to read into all this stuff.
Horst,
and it's like,
you've been tired of talking about it since the season ended. Oh, I got a glare. I got a glare there from this man. Doesn't a big fan of me pointing that out. I mean, it's reality of the situation. You've been pretty fed up with it. I know a lot of 49ers fans are starting to get to the point where
there's just nothing we can do about it.
Correct.
I mean, they're going to pick who they're going to pick. I just wish the process was a month long instead of 6 months long, 4 months long, whatever it is.
But it really hasn't been 6 months long because we were talking about 12. We were talking about other players being drafted.
True.
It's only been since they moved up to 3 that the quarterback talk, as far as the draft, is intensified. The whole trade thing, though, was going for a while.
Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. The thing that's upset me is ever since they brought Mac Jones into it, I'm not excited about it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I think all of us are on the same boat here that the Mac Jones thing was just stuff to talk about. I think a lot of these talking heads just, there was nothing else because you know it's going to be Fields, you know it's going to be Wilson, you know if Lawrence falls, it's Lawrence. Maybe you can argue Trey Lance, but it's going to be one of those three. And that story's it's run out and played, right?
Now, do we think Lawrence is going to fall now? I mean, after reading this article that came out, it made me nervous. If I was Jacksonville, I would be nervous right now. And in fact, I'd be nervous for the 49ers to take him at 3 because one of the things you got to really have is passion. And the fact he could say that they said he could walk away tomorrow and be completely fine makes me nervous.
Yeah, that's not good.
Did you get all spooked when you read that, Horst?
I didn't read it.
Oh,
I was at work.
Oh, that's true. This man was working. I took a look at it on my lunch break today, and the comments just, it gives you an uneasy feeling in the pit of your stomach because you get flashbacks to Luck, who just retired early because there's more to life than football, and Lawrence is saying that without having already played a down
or suffering the same injuries that Andrew was going through.
It's true. He's making those comments with real no injury history. Nothing but success, and there's more to life than football. I 100% agree with you, Trevor Lawrence. But can you go into the NFL, the highest level, where the best of the best are playing, with that mindset and have success? Can a team build around that? Well, can you lead? Also,
he said that he doesn't need to win a Super Bowl. He's not going to play with a chip on his shoulder.
Tom Brady's rolling over.
That really bugs me because someone like Justin Fields is going to play, with a chip on his shoulder. Mm-hmm. Zach Wilson wants to win championships. So that really bugs me. To me, I mean, as far as his mindset, unless I'm in a room with this guy, if I'm a GM and a coach, and I really know that this is more just kind of what he's talking about, that scares the living heck out of me. And if I'm Jacksonville, I'm reassessing who I'm drafting, and I'm taking a real hard look at Justin Fields or Zach Wilson.
Yeah. Do you take him at 3 if he falls to San Francisco?
I almost wouldn't. I mean, that's how nervous it made me.
Yeah.
It really made me nervous that this guy could, in 5 years, could be like, you know what? I'm just not down for the grind. I'm ready to move on, and that is insane.
From 1 to, I mean, here's the thing: if this happens, right, and let's say they don't take Lawrence at 1, they go Fields. Let's say the Jets take Wilson at 2. Niners are sitting there at 3. Scared the living daylights out of taking Trevor Lawrence, and let's say they do the drastic and they go Trey Lance or Mac Jones at 3 because of this. How far does Lawrence fall?
He's still not going to fall very far. Somebody will come up and get him. Atlanta would take him 100% at 4.
Horst?
Yeah, I don't think he'd fall past Atlanta either.
Okay, so then if he's not going to fall past Atlanta, then do you just pull the trigger and take him and
because
roll with Jimmy?
You have to feel comfortable with it. And I'll tell you right now, Trevor Lawrence is 100% starting from day one he walks on your... So you're trading Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, man.
I'm telling you right now, if we draft Justin Fields, there is a good chance we trade Jimmy Garoppolo before draft is over, period.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
People are saying you take Wilson or Fields and then you trade Jimmy to the Pats for pick 15. Is that, if they do you think that's possible? Because people in the comment section, I saw right here, right at the start of this, they made that comment. A couple people said that. Do you agree with that?
Well, it came out yesterday, right, that KMBR was floating around, or one of the guys on KMBR was floating around the idea of trading Jimmy Garoppolo for pick 15 and Stephon Gilmore. To me and Horst kind of talked about this at work last night, was the fact that we don't think that that we can get a first round
pick for
value for Jimmy. I mean, would I love to get if they offered 15? I'm moving him right now.
Yeah,
I'm living with the results. But I know I can add a first round talent. Shoot, Horst, in that scenario, we could add a Jalen Phillips or a Zaven Collins without giving up any draft capital. 2 big time players right away.
You could probably even move back a little bit and get either one of those guys and pick up more draft capital.
And if you pick up 15 early, you can package 15 with something else and go up and get Pitts.
Also true.
You know what I mean? So as far as that goes, there's a lot of different options. I just don't know if the Patriots are willing. The fact that the Patriots are at all these pro days, they're probably talking to the 49ers.
I agree.
Yeah,
but I just don't know if it's a first. Horst, do you think it's a first?
I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I know people are saying pick 15. I seen Jay Ellie said pick 15 by itself.
Yeah. Horst, Tommy had said he can't believe he said that, and Niners All Day said, why would he say that? What do you think is the driving reason for Lawrence behind that just level of complacency with not wanting to win a Super Bowl, not caring if he wins one? What do you think would be the driving force behind something like that?
I don't know. It was foolish. It wasn't smart. People are that's gonna haunt him for a couple of years.
Yeah. No,
unless does he not want to go to Jacksonville?
That was something in our group message
right.
that got brought up, is maybe he doesn't want to be in Jacksonville, and that's why the comments came out. He wants to be not there. So makes those kind of comments as like a mind game sort of thing to try and get Jacksonville off him. Meanwhile, he's telling other teams, yeah, by the way, that was just a bunch of malarkey, and just take me right now.
Right. If he's privately going to the Jets or the 49ers and saying, hey, look, everything you read that's coming out is not true. This is what I'm telling you is true. I get it, but I mean, it's definitely painting a picture. And you know the way the media is around San Francisco. Could you imagine if now that this is out and the 49ers do draft him at 3, they're going to, I mean, of course the fan base will be elated because he's one heck of a talent, but sports writers around here, you know.
I mean, we're going to go.
Grant Gone, for instance, is going to go crazy on the fact that, you know, this guy doesn't want it. This guy doesn't care. We went from Jimmy to this guy. Like, you already know what he's going to face.
And
Coach Ralph Lawrence already has the playbook.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, and with the media, we're going to go from, I mean, you go all the way back to Y.A. Tittle. There's the famous picture of him covered in blood on the field, to guys like Montana, Steve Young about getting the monkey off his back, winning the Super Bowl, guys that were so passionate about winning. Even Jeff Garcia never won one, but man, that guy played with everything he had.
True. Guys
like that, and then now we're going to get this guy. I mean, like I said, Trevor Lawrence, top tier talent, but man, that's terrifying.
I'll tell you one thing we're not thinking about. If that happens and it goes Fields, then Wilson, and he's sitting there, what would stop the 49ers from picking up the phone and trading back 3 or 4 spots, knowing now Mac Jones or Trey Lance will be there, and you can move back and possibly do something else? Or do you scrap your entire plan and then go, let's get maximum value with our trade back, take Kyle Pitts, and then get like somebody else, Davis Mills or somebody in the second round? And let's say, you know what, let's ride with Jimmy. But I don't know. I just, this made me nervous.
Yeah. I mean, that's putting it mildly. Mildly putting it, making just everything. It just throws the whole draft in a loop.
And it's kind of what you guys know. I don't know how much I've said it on here. That's what scared me about Trevor Lawrence the whole time.
You did say that.
I've been bringing this up. Is that he's no, I don't know him personally. I don't know like financial situation, things like that. I'm talking strictly on the football field.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about his home life. But high school, number 1 player in the nation, went to a great school, state championships, all that. College, goes to Clemson, who's top 4 in talent every year. So the guy's never really had to fight through adversity. And the one time he did, when their line was getting destroyed by was Ohio State this
Yeah.
year, right?
It was Ohio State.
By Ohio State, he kind of pooped all over himself on the field. He did not have a very good game that day. And dropping the ball when he's getting hit and things like that.
Well, and his comments in the SI article too on that game were a little, I wouldn't say concerning.
What did he say?
He essentially talked about how he didn't have any regrets from that game. He knows he did everything he possibly could to win.
Well,
which
that's a fair statement.
That's a fair statement. But the fact that he had no regrets and nothing that he would look back on and want to change, to me, was concerning, because it's like, what kind of self-reflecting and evaluating are you truly doing? Because everyone can get any game, any situation, you can improve and get better on.
Well, I had a different opinion on that game than both of you as far as him, because I think that he just tried to win the game on every single play. He was trying to bring his team and lead his team back. To me, that actually showed a little bit of, that competitiveness and stuff when he's in the game. So when he was making fumbles and stuff, that was just him trying to do too much.
Agreed.
I think when you're looking at it that way.
And his comment about that could definitely be misconstrued as what he means is he prepared as hard as he could. He gave as much effort as he could, and the game just didn't go his way.
100%.
If that's what he means, then I understand what he's saying, as far as that he doesn't want to change anything. Like, that he couldn't have prepared harder. He couldn't have watched more film. He couldn't have, that kind of thing. And like I said, I'm still going to be shocked if Trevor Lawrence isn't a stud in the NFL.
I agree. I think we all agree with that. I think it just
But I think this is the first chink in his armor.
Yeah.
That's been public.
Correct. 100%. And I think that's why it's the biggest concern, because I don't think anyone figured we would see the chink before the draft.
No.
If we were going to see it, it was going to be once he was in the league, right?
Yeah, this is kind of that time, though, that the whole thing, the narrative starts to change. This is when the Baker Mayfields make a huge jump and those kind of things. Kyler Murray makes a big jump. Now, Jay Ellie brought up about the Jets selecting Justin Fields. And actually, if you guys follow I don't know if you guys watch or listen to any Jets media or anything, especially on all the YouTube pages and all that stuff, the Justin Fields to the Jets is picking up steam.
It is, because a few days ago, I'm in that Discord group with a bunch of those football guys. The Jets guy in there, Jets 24/7 Talk, if you guys ever want to go take a look at them, he brought up that there was no chance it was going to be Fields. There's no buzz on Fields. No one's talking about Fields. It's Wilson 100% all the way. And then magically, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, within the last few days, stuff started popping up. And he came back into the group and was all stand corrected.
Yeah. Even Rich Eisen has been saying, you know what, maybe it could be Fields. He says with the Jets, you just never know what's going to happen.
Well, do you never know because they're so secretive and elusive, or do you never know because they've made some blunders?
Ownership is garbage.
There you go.
By the way, did you guys see Mark Schlereth's comment on the? I believe it was Mark Schlereth, so don't hold me to this, guys, if I'm saying the wrong name. His comment on the Jets. He said, come on, it's been 25 years. We all know the Jets are going to mess this up.
Yeah.
No matter who they pick, it's going to end up being a bust.
Well, you're not entirely wrong. And I've even heard rumors about Trey Lance, and I think after his second pro day, you're going to hear more rumors about Trey Lance at 2 as well.
Correct. It's going to be crazy times. But a thing that wouldn't be crazy, guys, is Naja Harris falling into the second round, and for the 49ers to be smitten with this. Apparently, they've been talking to the man, talking to one Naja Harris, and this may become reality. This may come to fruition.
Yeah.
Ant, what are you hearing about this? How are you feeling about this?
Yeah, the running back coach has been talking to Naja Harris a lot, which is not uncommon for him. He did it a lot with other running backs last year, but he did it this time. And Naja Harris was talking to them so much, he was in the belief that he was going to get picked at pick 12 by the 49ers. That's how much of a relationship he has with Bobby Turner. So he really thought this was going to happen. And then when they traded up to 3, he's like, wow, I really thought I was going to get picked. But I think the 49ers understand, and that's why they've been keeping such close tabs, is that Najee is more likely to go in the second round. I think there's a lot of people that question his speed, the fact that he didn't run at his pro day. A lot of people are wondering if he's going to run a high 4.5, high 4 or 4.6, and there's some concerns there. So I think the real target for him is Pittsburgh in the first round, and if he makes it past that, he will go into the second round.
There are some rumors of Miami at 18.
You think Miami would pick him at 18?
It's just been some rumors I've seen.
I mean, I think it's just because Miami drafts Alabama guys, though, don't you? Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't think he's going 18. To me, as far as running back, that's not a great value for a running back in the first round anymore.
No, and Naja Harris, I think I would be excited if we got him at 43.
Right.
I think people are underestimating him a little bit because he plays in such a great program that it's just become usual to see Alabama players accomplish great things. Naja Harris is the guy does everything well. He's big, he's fast, he's strong, he doesn't turn the ball over, he blocks well, he catches the ball out of the backfield. I mean, that guy, to me, he's a game changer at running back. And if you were to put him with Raheem Mostert as a pairing, that is a nasty punch. Because you got Najee, who I know a lot of people are categorizing him as a power back. I don't think he's strictly a power back.
Right.
He does run hard, but to me, even Derrick Henry's not a power back. Derrick Henry is a good running back that has a lot of power, but Derrick Henry pulls away from everyone.
Right.
He gets out in the open, and excuse me, and I think Najee's similar. I don't think he's got the power Derrick Henry has. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, but I think he's a good all-around running back where power is part of his game. And actually, if you read a lot of scouting stuff on him, that was the Bama coach's biggest problem with him at the start, was he didn't just put his shoulder down and go sometimes. He used to try and make too many moves, like use his athleticism. So I think in his mind, he's a more skilled back than that. And I think the tape, if you guys watch it, shows that.
No, I agree with you there. I think that's 100% accurate, and I think it's crazy that this man has a potential to even go in the second round, to be honest with you. He shouldn't. He shouldn't go anywhere near the second round. He's not a second-round talent. He's a top 10 talent easily. He might even be top 5, to be honest with you. Just the amount of different things that the man can do. The Derrick Henry comparison is not far off.
Right.
Like, it's accurate.
Didn't Derrick Henry go in the second round?
I mean, yeah.
I think
the difference between him and Derrick Henry, though, number one, Derrick Henry's huge compared to him.
Gigantic.
But second of all, I think Najee Harris has way better lateral movement.
Yes.
I think he might be faster.
Yeah, I would actually say that, to me, if we're going to compare Bama running backs, he's Ingram with more power.
Okay.
You think he's Ingram with more power?
Yeah.
See, I think he reminds me of Jeff Wilson, like a souped-up Jeff Wilson.
That's not a bad comparison.
That's who he reminds me of. Like
lots of nos.
Yeah, to me, they have a similar running style, but like with Najee, he can make the moves in the lateral moves that Wilson can't make. As far as that's why he's souped up, because he can make the little jump cut. But I think they're similar speed, similar build, and then he can just make those extra plays. And he can. I know there's a lot of talk that he can't break tackles for a big running back. That he doesn't break as many tackles. But if they can't touch him, what's the difference?
But I just don't understand how Najee falls. Say he falls, because a lot of people have him falling into the 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
How is it that he's the number one recruit in the nation, high school, goes to Bama, obviously doesn't play much at first, great talent in front of him. His last 2 years starts and plays great. And he's now fallen to the 50th best guy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean it
doesn't make sense to me.
No, it's the complete devaluing of the running back position in the NFL. Is. And the fact that you can find guys and plug and play in the right system, right? You can plug and play undrafted guys. Shanahan has shown he can do that. I think the success of undrafted and low round guys has basically come back to bite some of these running backs, these high level prospect running backs in the butt, because there's been so many guys that have had success that aren't those first round guys. They're not first round talents. I think a lot of people, I don't know about how Dallas fans feel about this, but I think a lot of common NFL fans look at a guy like Zeke Elliott, who was drafted fairly early, and think bust.
What?
Yes.
No, I think
there are people that actually believe that, like the common fan who is, maybe not super invested in their team, maybe plays like the occasional fantasy football game or whatever. There's a lot of football fans out there who look at a guy like Zeke Elliott and think bust.
Well, that's the problem, is they're looking at it through a fantasy lens.
Or even if they don't even play fantasy, they don't see him putting up the huge big numbers that they would expect a guy like that who was, explosive in college, explosive his first couple of years in the league, and hasn't had that same level of explosivity in terms of the numbers. They just look at the numbers and think, well, there's been a drop off, so obviously this didn't work out, and this is why you don't take guys early.
I think that they just need to change their mindset to change that these running backs aren't going to go more than one contract. A lot of them, You're going to have these guys for 4 to 5 years, and then you're going to switch, and you're going to move on. And signing a big-time player, like, look at Le'Veon Bell.
Mm-hmm.
Look at, who were you just talking about?
Zeke
Elliott. The one contract, and then they should have let it go, because after that, they're going to start falling off.
Yeah.
Running backs, just career span doesn't last very long.
And if you want to think about, for people that think just anyone, or you can grab any undrafted guy or any 6th, 7th round guy.
Tommy.
I'm not taking a shot at him in particular.
I know.
Just people that think that. Go back to this with Mike Shanahan on the Broncos. After Terrell Davis got hurt, they had who? Olandis Gary, Mike Anderson, guys like that. They were still 1,000-yard rushers, and this is kind of where this started.
Right.
It became a big kind of joke that you put anyone in that Shanahan system, and except for Olandis Gary ran for 1,100 yards. Terrell Davis ran for 2,000.
Right, and Clinton Portis.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up next, is Clinton Portis. You take a special back and put him in a special system, and you get special results.
Bingo.
Super special.
And if you got a running back that is running like that, takes the pressure off everyone else, because no team's just going to sit there and let you gash them for 200 yards.
Well, I mean, some
teams don't have a choice. That's the Packers.
Oh, yikes, dude!
You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing.
Oh my God, that's
especially old school guys. Like, I know I'm an old school guy. Is the way I view football. Is a run game never quits. You know what I mean? It just doesn't. If you get a run game going and they can't stop it, it never quits. Pass game, wind can affect the ball. A receiver can drop it. There's all kinds of things. But a run game, if it's very good and very established, it won't stop.
And people that want to argue or get upset with us about this whole thing, how did we get to the Super Bowl last time? You guys all are so quick to criticize Jimmy that he's only threw 10 passes, 12 passes, 21 passes in the 2 games, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we ran for 400 yards in those 2 games.
Correct.
Hey, Horst and Alex, do you guys think Najee fits the system?
Yes.
Because there's been a lot of people that say Najee might not fit the 49ers system.
I think Najee fits every system.
I don't think there's a system that Najee doesn't fit in.
Alabama runs plenty of zone runs out of pistol.
Oh, correct. I agree. And I think it is. But let's say they are going Justin Fields. Would it make sense for them to go Naja Harris and change their future as far as now they're more of a power run team with a quarterback that can run, and then Naja Harris?
Correct. Well, and Leonardo Cruz just said it best here in chat. It wouldn't be a bad idea considering all our running backs were injured.
Right.
They've been plagued. Like last year, they were plagued with injuries. Raheem Mostert
the year before too.
Yes, and Raheem Mostert has been injured consistently in his career, no matter where he's been. At every stop, somewhere along the line, something has happened to him. With the exception of 2 years ago, at the end of the season when he made that run. But if everyone remembers correctly, Tevin Coleman took dinks that year. The last 2 years, Matt Breida was dinked up his last few years in San Francisco. This year, you had what's up, Jay White. This year,
Jay
Whizzle's here. This year, you had Raheem Mostert get dinked up.
Yeah.
Jeff Wilson gets dinked up. I mean, every single guy on the roster playing the running back position at some point took shots and got dinked up. Maybe it's time to evolve the running back position and take a guy who's a little bit more of a bigger bruiser guy who can take a little more of a beating.
And go ahead.
I was just going to ask you a question, Horst. Do you think, though, that you would rather have Najee Harris than some of the other guys we've talked about in the second round? Would you value him over a Wyatt Davis or a Joe Tryon or Elijah Molden?
That's a difficult question. I see running back as a need.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on if you see running back as a need. Because both positions, say we're talking Wyatt Davis, who everyone knows I'm a huge fan of.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a solid guard there in Brunskill.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Wyatt Davis would be an upgrade.
Agreed.
Well, if you look at the running back position, we have solid backs, but I think Naja Harris would be an upgrade. So I think it's the same situation.
Right.
But as far as I was going to make a comment on switching the scheme up, and you guys, people that don't closely watch football, are going to laugh and joke about this. When Washington went with RG3 and had Alfred Morris at running back, they did not run outside much with Alfred Morris. Alfred Morris is more of a bigger, stronger guy.
Right.
Correct?
Yep.
So, and if you could get Justin Fields and replicate RG3's first year in the NFL and Alfred Morris, the production of Alfred Morris out of Najee, that'd be a great year offensively.
Yeah, and it would also change your goal line offense completely, 100%.
I mean, people that RG3 is kind of a joke now, but if you guys go back and look at his stats his first year, and go back and look at Alfred Morris's stats that same year.
Yeah.
Well, Tommy, I think we disagree there about desperately need corners because this is. I mean, with all the moves they just made at the cornerback position, the guys they brought back in, I don't know if you desperately need a corner. I think you need to add depth at the cornerback position, just like you need to add depth at the running back position.
But ask Tommy if we're taking one at 43 because
I don't think we are.
I mean, if you're taking a corner at 43, who's going to be there? You're talking Elijah Molden. I don't think Asante Samuel's going to be there. I think he'll be gone.
Correct.
So you can honestly pick one up. You could actually trade back if you're looking corner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because we're not going Melifonwu, I don't think.
Correct. And listen, don't get it confused, guys. We're not saying that they need to do this. Right. We're not saying that they need to go get Najee. We're just trying to prepare everybody for the reality that it could happen.
And the fact that they've met with like 5 or 6 running backs means they're definitely evaluating the running back.
Yeah.
Correct. And I think the fact that they're meeting with Naja Harris should tell you a little bit about what they think of their running back position.
Yeah.
And how highly they value him. Because I don't think that if they had talked to him as much as they did, come on. I mean, let's be real. We all knew that they knew that at some point they were making a move for quarterback depth, whether it was going to be Deshaun Watson, whether that was going to be trading up in the draft, whether that was trading back or staying pat at 12 to pick a quarterback. We all know now they were going to make a quarterback move this year.
Yeah.
They were going to make something. So the fact that they were talking to Naja Harris leads me to believe, and they've been talking to him as much as they have, that they had no intention of taking him at 12. They were thinking maybe we can get this guy in the second round.
That's 100%.
Well, and for these people that are devaluing the running game, running backs, you guys, I kind of have the same outlook as Ant over here about power football and the run game. When did Tampa Bay take off this year? When did they take off?
Leonard Fournette.
When playoff Lenny came out and Ronald Jones those last 5 or 6 weeks got it rolling. That's when Tampa Bay turned into the team that won the Super Bowl.
I see people are starting to panic about the corners.
Oh yeah, and Tommy, I mean, listen, that's a hypothetical question that you're asking right now. What happens if Jason Verrett gets hurt? What happens if Mostert gets hurt?
What happens if Fred Warner gets hurt?
I mean, like anyone can get hurt, and it can derail anything. You can't make decisions based on. You can't make decisions of taking players based on fear of what happens if this guy's not there. All you can do is prep for backup plans and secondary plans in case something happens. But you can't bank on it.
Well, 100% they're going to address the corner position.
Agreed.
I think they're going to address it. And there's how many players that are going to be available after the draft that are free agents that are just sitting there.
Correct.
Players like Richard Sherman that I think we're all ready to move on from. But there's going to be other moves. But we've already said Paulson Adebo is one of the guys we really like. Mm-hmm. You can get him in the 3rd round.
And I don't. He's not a 3rd round talent.
No, he's higher than that. So it's because he sat out. He's getting devalued. So it's like. You don't have to take someone with the second round pick, a cornerback.
Correct.
And that's why we've been high on taking offensive linemen. I don't think I would blink an eye if the 49ers walked away with Wyatt Davis or Landon Dickerson or one of those guys
at
there.
43?
Yeah, because I think both those guys are first-round talents, and I think Horst does too. But I would blink an eye if they drafted a corner unless it was a nickel corner.
Correct.
Because I don't think there's as much value there because Newsome is going in the 1st round now.
And
he was the 2nd round guy I would have targeted.
Yeah, and he is probably one of the better corners on the board, and he won't be there at 43. So unless you're going to give up more draft capital, come back up and try and make a move for a guy like that, I just don't see how. I don't see what corner you're taking at 43.
No, and I know that we've seen that they've taken short-term contracts for Jason Verrett. A lot of that is so he can renegotiate next year when the salary cap is so much higher. Right. I mean, that's really what it came down to. It was necessity for him so he could, because he wants to get a huge contract with the 49ers. He doesn't want to get it somewhere else. He got a multi-year deal offered. He just wants to play for San Francisco.
Yep. Agree with you there.
Creed Humphrey, yeah, agreed.
That's another good name right there, Jay Ellie.
It's a great name there, Jay Ellie. Guys, we got Trey Lance also putting together a second pro day for Kyle Shanahan.
I'd rather see Lance Bass.
That's not nice at all, my guy. My dude, come on now, Horst. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with this. He's probably the one of the of the 4 quarterbacks up here in the first few picks. I think that a second pro day would actually help him more than a lot of these other guys.
Right.
Obviously, a second pro day had its benefits for Fields, as we've all now seen with all the craziness surrounding all of that. So I think this is going to be really good for Trey Lance. Obviously, he's been talking to the 49ers because the reports are coming out that they're going to be implementing 49ers-like quarterback drills into the workouts. So it obviously, this is a great idea for Trey Lance. This is obviously going to allow the 49ers to have, a good view of him and a good look at stuff within their system and see how he fits in with all of that. Do you guys think there's any possibility we take him at 3, or in the crazy world in which Trevor Lawrence is not taken at 1, he isn't taken at 2, he falls to the Niners at 3, and the Niners want no part of this whatsoever? Would they go with a guy like Trey Lance at 3, or would they trade back, try and get someone to come in to take Trevor Lawrence there at 3, get some capital, and get him a little bit later?
I think if he's their guy, then they're going to take him. I mean, I just think it's that simple. I just don't know if he's their guy. You know what I mean? You really don't know right now what they're looking at. I mean, they're definitely taking a hard look at all these guys. They're making sure. I think they have the belief that Trevor's going 1, and then they're evaluating from that. And I think that if Trey Lance has a very good pro day, I mean, maybe they do take a harder look because he's someone that's harder to evaluate because he only had the 1 game this year. If he would have played a full season, we probably would be talking about him, maybe as the 2nd overall pick because he is that kind of talent. He's a good player. So we'll see what happens when they get there. But I do think it's a big thing that he's doing, the San Francisco 49ers drills. I think it's important because they get to see him operate in something that they do and the things that they execute. Scangarello is going to be out there making sure that he's doing what they want him to do, and they're going to be evaluating him. And there's something to say about watching someone in person. You can watch as much film as you want, but actually seeing that person, in person, I think it just changes everything.
Yeah, it does. But, I mean, the reason pro days don't excite me is wearing shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the point. I don't think that you're, making your full decision off the fact that it's a pro day.
No,
what you're doing is either confirming what you already know or making yourself think, you know what, I need to examine this a little bit further.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. You're confirming what you see on tape
right.
when you're a coach that's at the pro day. But what I meant by that was us sitting here watching it. I don't know. I can't tell that much from those.
I can.
I like pro days.
You don't watch his technique, how he's throwing, how he holds the ball, where his feet are, the length and distance from where the defender is compared to him. None of that.
I mean, I try. I will never profess to be a quarterback whisperer.
Well, I'm not saying you have to, but I mean, at least.
No. We want a confirmation right here and now, Horst. You have to be a quarterback whisperer.
Well, I mean, because people watch a pro day and they see him throw the ball over the receiver's head and they're like, "Oh, that was a terrible throw," but they're not exactly breaking down exactly why. His hand got underneath it, or whatever.
Well, I get what you're saying. I mean, I can tell you if the throw is bad, but I can't always tell you why.
Yeah.
Rob Swink, I do agree with you.
I get what you're saying because you know a lot about quarterback play.
Right.
Horst does want to see Lance Bass. He was actually talking about him all during the pre-show meeting today. So, I mean, he's just super
That's actually what I talk about most of the time we're not live.
It's a little odd, to be honest with you, but,
I keep my NSYNC dolls at work.
Yeah, when he leaves, he says bye, bye, bye.
He really does.
True, yeah.
The whole thing.
And then you're right, Tommy. I do like betting on dog races.
Oh, goodness gracious me. Guys, NFL announced it's official. 17 games this upcoming season. Horst is making fart noises over there. Okay, thoughts on this, guys? Pros and cons to this. 17 games in the regular season. What are we thinking here, Horst? Let's start with you on this. What are the pros? What are the cons for you on 17 regular season games?
Can you believe Ralph would gift me those posters and then make fun of me?
I know. What a jerk.
So 17 games. As a fan, it's cool. I mean, the extra football. But, man, they didn't take into account what the players think because none of these players want to do this. None of the ones I've seen.
They agreed to it.
I'm curious what they got. Their contracts didn't go any higher.
They get paid extra money for an extra game, guaranteed. TV deals get bigger.
But for the fans, it's great. TV deals, it's great. And I love watching football, so I get to watch an extra week of football this year. And there's one less week of preseason, so that's even better as a fan. Once again, I don't know if that's better for the team, but it's better for the fans. The last thing is, I honestly think they should have gave them 2 bye weeks.
I do agree with you.
I'll go into that. Go ahead. I'll get into why
these
they
guys
didn't.
are so beat up at the end of the season.
Yeah.
If you're gonna throw on another game, at least give these guys 2 weeks off throughout the year.
Well, you know why they didn't, right? Because
No,
they wanted to go to 18 games, and as soon as they go to 18 games, the NFL will give them the second one they want. It's negotiations.
Right.
You know, and as far as 17 games go, yeah, it might suck for the players. They got to play the extra game, but they know they're going to make money on the back end because the new TV deals, they already set up for a Monday Night Football playoff game on Wild Card Weekend now.
Yep.
So there's more money. Everything is bigger. All the money's going to be coming in. And also, as far as the 49ers go, it's better for the 49ers this year. A 17th game against the Cincinnati Bengals means you have a better chance to make the playoffs. Their playoff chances went up massively. So in that regard, it does make sense because they're going to make money eventually, Horse. That's the key, is they're looking down the road. The players are seeing, yes, it's going to suck this year, and the NFL is holding that bye week, saying, hey, we're going to give you an extra bye week. You give us the 18th game that they ultimately want, because guess what? Another game means more TV money, more money for the owners. More money for the owners means a little more money for the players.
Correct.
But it's still a little more money.
And let's clarify,
Yeah.
when you say a little bit more money, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars.
It's
to
just
share
the other
amongst
ones
the
are
players.
making billions.
Exactly.
I mean, let's be honest. I wish there was a spring season. I mean, I love football.
That's
So,
true.
I mean, it's not that. I'm just saying when you look at it from a player's perspective.
Right. I understand it from a player's perspective, and I understand it from the NFL's perspective.
Yeah, from the NFL's perspective, this is a win. Total win.
Oh, big,
Yeah.
huge win.
Well, it's going to help also more players because these rosters are going to continue to expand. If you have 18 games, you need more players, so more players are on rosters.
You'll probably see an influx here in the next couple of years up to 60
Yep.
man rosters, and then up to 65, maybe even 70.
And the expanded practice squads as well.
Correct. So there's going to be more money to go around for more players. More
Should give them
players.
90 scholarships.
90 scholarships, man. That's a lot of scholarships. The pros are obvious. I mean, I don't need to go into the pros. The cons, obviously, like you guys pointed out, the things you said. More games,
Yeah.
more beat up players, more opportunities to get hurt. Not having the extra bye week kind of sucks. Jay Ellie pointed out still 3 preseason games. Really, all they did was cut a preseason game and add it to the regular season and kept the 3 other preseason games. So all they did was move a preseason game into the regular season, and that's what they're
means one more week of good football.
correct. And that
does.
and that just shows you where the NFL's mindset is. They probably would like to cut into one more of those preseason games, like you just pointed
100%.
out,
Mhm.
move it to the regular season, and there you go. Ralph, you had said there's an extra playoff game. Not really, because they're just going to keep the same playoff format that they had. The 17.
Well, they added
Are they
the one last
keeping the
year.
7?
correct.
Yeah.
They're going to
They
keep the
keep it
7.
7.
So it's not what
Yes.
happened this year.
Well, next year will be 8. Or when they go to 18 games, will be 8.
Yes, when they go to 18 games, it will be 8. So they'll
So you're going to
add
have more
them.
than half the teams in each conference make the playoffs?
Correct.
Are you? There's 32 teams.
Or, excuse me, half.
Half.
Half
I
exactly.
was thinking 30.
Here's the thing. I think that's
My brain
fair.
don't work good.
I think that's fair, right?
I think it's fair.
I think the top half should have a shot at winning the Super Bowl.
I think it's butt cheek.
Why do you think it's butt cheeks?
Well, you're not
Too
gonna. It's gonna change everything having the extra game.
Well, and I think also by adding the extra team as well, I think what you've now done is you've now made the playing field for teams to win a Super Bowl. I think everyone can agree for the most part the NFL has decent parity throughout the league.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think adding another team only goes towards that parity. I don't think it's going to hurt that parity and the different amount of different teams and organizations you have winning Super Bowls.
Well, I think doesn't it also create the opportunity for expansion in the NFL? Could it now be 34 teams?
I think that's the idea. I think that's what they're
Oh, they 100%. And they want that England team so bad.
They probably want a team in Mexico. They probably want a team in England.
I could see Mexico. I could also see Canada.
Yeah.
I could see Canada, but I think England is the big push. That's what they obviously want. I would hate to be whatever organization ends up in the same division as that England team.
Well, unless you're on the East Coast, right? It's not that bad.
That's still rough, man. That's still a long
Yeah,
flight. I've made
I
that
agree.
flight before, dude. That's a rough flight.
Tommy Huxley just used a school word.
Blow.
Bloviator.
Well, no
I don't
comment on
understand it, so I'm gonna take it as disrespect.
the. Listen, we
I'm just
love.
joking. Movie quote.
You're talking to my man all wrong
You're
here.
talking about men all wrong here, Tommy. Man, we
When I get back
appreciate
here.
that love. We appreciate it. Oh, my
Hey,
goodness. We have a Robert Kiro
Quiros.
sighting in the chat. What is going
All right,
on?
time to
good
turn
sir?
it off.
It's over. Well, until next time, 49ers fans, you stay. All right, gentlemen. New offseason program was released by the NFL. New protocols, new dates and times. Ant, are you pulling this up right now for us to discuss? Look at this man,
Yeah.
all on top of it. This was all his idea. Ant came up with this all by his lonesome. We want to break this down and discuss it. Ant, give the people what they want. Give them the news. What is going on with these offseason programs?
Yeah, so right now the NFL has decided what they're going to be doing with their offseason, and it's going to be very similar to last year. I mean, it really is. You know, a lot of it is not going to be mandatory, but the main thing I think that people need to know is that it is going to be mandatory for OTAs. So we're going to get 10-day OTAs this year, which we didn't get last year, which means actual coaching on the field. So that is big. And also no change to rookie mini camps and stuff.
Okay.
So I think those are the big things. I mean, the first phase is April 19th to May 14th. Virtual meetings, 2 hours a day, no on-field drills. Facility and weight room, they're still going to have the capacity limits. And the second phase is May 17th to the 21st, virtual meetings, on-field drills with coaches, according to the CBA rules. So that is good, no contacting. Third phase, 4 weeks, that's May 24th through June 18th. And that is traditional OTAs, 10 days full speed, no contact, in-person or virtual meetings. So that's when you can first start seeing that kind of stuff. And includes mandatory minicamp. So there's going to be a minicamp this year, which I think is huge. That's going to really, especially if we have a rookie quarterback.
Yeah,
these things are going to be so gigantic. That's why I wanted to talk about it and just what it means. And then that's when the players start getting their money. CBA, individual player contracts for workout bonuses and all that will start kicking in. And then, the COVID protocols are kind of the same. Daily testing, staff vaccinations, and other regular season protocols are all in effect, of course. But those are the main things. But I thought the fact we're going to have OTAs and minicamp was big time compared to last year.
Yeah. For people that are really anti the hitting and, they wish they wouldn't have pulled back on the hitting and all the stuff during camp. They've made everything more walk-through, run-through type stuff. I used to agree with that thought process. It really bothered me. I was old school. And, people cite that as a reason for poor tackling in the NFL. Until one day I listened to an interview with Eric Davis, who used to be a defensive back for the Niners on the 94 Super Bowl team.
Nice name drop.
He does plenty of different shows. I'm sure most people know who he is.
Yeah.
But he talked about that George Seifert, when he ran their defense, even before he was head coach, but George Seifert never had the defense practice in pads. He said it was very rare the Niners were actually one of the teams that hit the least. And he said that you can be in the correct position without pads and know your players are getting into the correct position as long as everyone's going their hardest. He said, we've all been playing this game for how many years at this point? You should know how to tackle.
Right.
He said, if you don't know how to tackle, you're not getting drafted.
There you go.
So he made the point that this is coaching, the reason tackling is bad. He said it's poor technique and poor effort on the players.
A lot of it's effort.
So that's what that really flipped my thought process on the whole situation when I thought about it, is these guys don't need to go bang their heads against each other every day. They've been doing that most of them since they're 10 years old. So as long as you're able to coach them into correct techniques, correct positions, I'm all for all this stuff.
Yeah, and isn't that funny, Horse, that Ronnie Lott was so mad at George Seifert because when George Seifert took a head coach, he became soft, according to him, because he wouldn't let him go hit all the running backs and receivers. All of a sudden, he was protecting them. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
It is hilarious. But, I mean, it's the reality of the situation, right?
Yeah.
You have to be able to protect these guys from themselves, especially when it's not on – you need them on the field to play. And if they're taking shots and laying shots out in practice, there's always the chance that you're not going to have a guy available and ready to go in a game. The amount of ACL injuries and non-contact ACL injuries has skyrocketed in the last decade. And while some people may say, there's reasons for that, I mean, a lot of it is probably field conditions and just the speed at which these guys are now playing at, because the speed of the game has easily picked up and increased. I mean, yes, there's always been those 4-2, 4-3, 4-4 guys in the NFL. Those guys have existed, but they're everywhere now.
Yep.
Well, it's not just that, it's the schemes.
Right.
Because, let's be honest, how many teams up until the mid-90s to late 90s ever had more than 2 wide receivers on the field?
That too.
Yeah, I mean, you remember back in the day, Horse, we had guys in 3-point stances out wide.
That goes, you can watch the 49ers films all the way up to the 84 Super Bowl. They had Dwight Clark out there in 3-point stance.
Yep. They really did. Mike Wilson also 3-point stance all the way into 88.
Accurate.
So,
yeah.
Accurate. So, I mean, none of those things, I don't think any of those things are bad things. I think it's player safety, trying to keep these guys on the field. Because at the end of the day, as fans, you want your best players out there. What I don't want to hear is that Nick Bosa, has a concussion from a shot he took from a pulling lineman in practice this week.
From Trent Williams.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that. Not at all. I don't want that to ever happen. So you got to find a way to keep these guys healthy. You got to find a way to keep them on the field. Obviously, they're doing that, and they've been doing that. And it's good to just see that they're going to have OTAs, mini camps, things like that. Because at the end of the day, especially with, like you said, with us going to most likely be going quarterback here in the first round, we need to make sure this guy, whoever it is that we're bringing in, oh my gosh.
Excuse me.
I just want everyone to know, Horst is sucking it up today. It has not been feeling great today. Sticking it out for the podcast, sticking it out for you, the viewers.
For the fans.
He loves you guys so much.
All of them except Megan.
Oh, yikes. Yikes. Big yikes. But no, I mean, he needs it. Whoever the rookie quarterback is this year, he's going to need it. He needs that time. He needs that time in the playbook. He's going to need that time with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, Tom Compton concussion.
Oh, good old Tom Compton concussion. But yeah, no, they're going to need that time. In all honesty, if Jimmy ends up staying as the QB, it's going to be very interesting to see his dynamic and interactions with whoever the quarterback is that they bring in. Because I wonder how he's going to take to that mentor role that Tom had with him. And if any of the ways Tom was with Jimmy are going to rub off and Jimmy's going to emulate any of those things.
The one thing I can say about Jimmy Garoppolo is he's a classy guy.
It's true.
I would bet you he handles it with the utmost class and is just a great individual in the way he handles it. I don't expect him to go be best friends with the guy. I think it'll be more Joe Montana, Steve Young, where they got along in the room, but they weren't friends outside, and both knew that the other one wanted to play, and they were going to work as hard as they could to play. And I think that all that's going to happen. And I think when Jimmy goes somewhere else after that, that's the end of the relationship. It'll be one of those "don't even look at me" things. But I honestly think that he's going to be. I think he'll handle it with class. He'll give it the Alex Smith kind of handle.
I agree. That, oh, by the way. If you guys didn't see the suggestion, Robert Quiros has a great suggestion for a new team.
The Fiji one?
Yeah, move them to Fiji and name them the Apples.
Sounds like something Gwyneth Paltrow would do.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Gwyneth Paltrow? Right. She has an interesting candle.
I actually coached a kid named Apple before.
You have?
I have.
I forgot about that.
Yep.
His name was really Apple?
His name was really Apple. Apple.
First name or last name?
First name.
Megan, I agree with you. Wow, Horst, can't believe you did that. That was super,
what are you talking about?
Duper ridiculously rude. Super duper ridiculously rude. What do you guys think? Chad, I want to hear from you on this, especially with the preseason stuff now with the program coming out. Are you excited to hear about mini camps and what they may mean for the young quarterback coming up? The other big thing, too, I want to find out from chat is if the NFL is going to go with a new team, if they're going to bring on a new team, where is it going to end up? Where is it going to be? Where are they going to open it? I know a couple people had said earlier they didn't think whatsoever that England or UK or whatever had a shot at a team. I would disagree with you there just because of the NFL's not reluctance, but they are seizing on the UK fan base, and they've been scheduling games overseas 2 to 3 times a year. They're trying to establish a buzz over there in Britain with football, American football, not football. And so because of that, that's the sport with the foot and the round ball and the checkered patterns, and they kick it, and you can't use your hands unless you're the dude at the special uniform and the goal. Yeah. So anyway, he coached again. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. But yeah, I
get it.
I
Apple, Dell.
I get it. I get it. It's computer stuff. The next person's gonna say they coach someone named Windows. Right?
Hopefully it's not Asus.
I coached at Microsoft.
You know why it does make sense for the England thing? I know a lot of people are saying that is when we're talking about getting the second bye week. Now you can schedule teams to be traveling back for a bye week. So that's why once you get to 2 bye weeks and you get to 18 games, you can maneuver it and schedule it so every team that plays in London gets a bye week. Or if it's London, England, wherever, somewhere over there. You go
London.
Yeah. I would think London because, just the fact that it
The
is.
silly nannies?
Yeah.
The other thing I found interesting, too, is the NFL, with the addition of the 17-game schedule, they're going to be flipping and alternating teams in the league that have their 8 games and 7 games. So one conference will have 8 home games and 7 away, and then inverse.
So they're
Right.
going to play 15?
Or excuse me, 9 and 8. My apologies. Thank you, mathematical guy over here. It's Captain Mathematics over here. I don't know if you guys know this. Horse, in his first life, before he joined the podcast and started the podcast with Anthony over there, he was a math teacher.
He was Rain Man.
That's right. In the casinos, counting cards. Brad Jones asks, will they draft another wide receiver because we really only have Devo and Ayuk?
I think so. I think they're going to draft a wide receiver. I don't think it's going to be early. Horse, do you think it's going to be early?
I don't know. I'd be shocked. I'd say 4th, 5th. Start thinking that.
Yeah, that's what I think as well.
I agree. I think 4th, 5th round is probably where you target a guy. Man, if they could find a way to add Marquez Stevenson, bro, I would absolutely
Him and Marquez Stevenson, you and Wyatt Davis.
It's true.
Yeah, my guy's good.
My guy's fast.
No one
He
even
is
knows
fast.
who your guy is.
He is fast.
That's the best part of Marquez Stevenson. Nobody
No, actually,
knows.
Chris Sims, he was an honorable mention on Chris Sims' top 5.
An honorable mention, eh?
Yeah.
You mean he honorably mentioned him right at the end because he doesn't want to blow Shanahan's cover that he's in love with the guy,
Yeah.
eh?
I would like to point out that Naja Harris was 4 on his top 5 list, which was
Who are
crazy.
who are the other 3?
Horse.
Etienne, Carter,
Yeah, and who was 3, Horse?
Davion Hawkins.
Oh wow, boy, your boy out of Louisville, eh?
Dude, I've been talking about him. All of a sudden, Sims is on board. I'm like, I don't always agree with Sims on his list, but
No one knew Tom Brady. Like, he didn't have any friends.
it means coming out of nowhere.
Coming out of nowhere. I mean, listen, he didn't come out of nowhere, right? Like he had a good, solid career at Michigan. He played well.
Yeah,
He just didn't have the physical attributes that you were looking for at the quarterback position.
no.
That's not true. The D train from the Hurricanes played with Tom Brady in high school.
Oh, I didn't know that. But I did, yeah. Tom Brady, I remember watching his combine.
It was
And-
ugly.
Oh, man, he was slow. His throwing motion was elongated. It didn't look there was a lot there. He looked really frail.
I knew it.
He looks a lot different. Now, if you see the Tom Brady now compared to then, you
He's not even the same
understand
guy.
why he's a 6th round pick. I mean, you really do. You don't see it. It was the same sort of complaints about Joe Montana. The only difference was Joe Montana was more athletic, and Bill Walsh was a visionary, and he saw him as someone that could perfectly fit his offense.
The first time I saw Tom Brady, I knew.
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest too. The first few times, the first few years of Brady's career, Brady didn't have to do a whole lot.
Yeah.
He had a lot of time to grow into the quarterback that he became. I know there was a lot of pressure on them especially once they won the first one, to continue producing, but he didn't have to do a lot. He needed to not make mistakes, and that's where he excelled and exceeded.
Anyone
As a
remember
quarterback.
Antoine Smith?
Yeah.
Kevin Folk?
Mm-hmm.
That defense was great, and the kicker was.
Adam
One of the
Vinatieri?
best of all time.
Yep.
Easily one of the GOATs.
Second to Pat McAfee.
I mean,
I think those are
went
good
wrong.
points about where the teams could end up. Canada, northern Mexico, like we talked
St.
about,
Louis.
St. Louis. I think those are. The
Those
other
are all
one to
great
throw out
ones,
there, Portland,
it could happen.
rabid base. When they have, I mean, look what they do with the Trailblazers. When they have a team,
about
they're just all
Oklahoma?
over it. Oklahoma is always a possibility,
Oklahoma City.
like
huh?
Oklahoma City. Yeah,
Good. 100%. I think those are good. Yeah. And FC West is jacked. Can't wait to watch good football. Agreed.
yeah, that's going to be.
Jacked is an understatement. Okay, so this is the other thing I want to bring up, and we'll get to Megan's little comment question next. The signing of James Conner
Who?
in the Arizona Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
Did that surprise any of you?
Didn't care.
I mean, I don't care either, but I was just kind of shocked that they seem to be going all in with the offense.
Well, the reason I say I don't care is because I
And
don't
the
think he's
weapons.
going to make an impact.
I don't
He's
think so
an
either.
all right player, but was that supposed to scare me?
The fact that they've switched to the running backs that they got from who they had, I think they downgraded at the running back position,
Who
so I'm
else
okay with it.
You
plays
think Kenyon
running
Drake
back
is a
there?
better option?
Oh, yeah.
Kenyon Drake was definitely the better option.
Kenyon Drake was when they started winning.
It's true.
I don't think. To me, this means nothing.
I think it reeks of desperation.
Who's
Well, they're
other
definitely
running
going
back
all in.
besides Connor?
Oh, I can't remember who they signed.
Wow, he must be good.
Yeah, he wasn't anyone, or it might even been somebody that was there already. I don't even know.
It's the backup. I forget his name.
Yeah, I'm not even.
He's good.
Sounds like you guys are.
He's
very
good. He's just not. He's not never down back. So
to me, their running back situation doesn't do anything for me.
No, and I still
Which is exactly what Coach Horstberry wants.
Well, hey, let's be honest.
Good old Coach Horstberry.
None of the NFC West running back situations do anything for me. I mean, the Rams aren't exactly going to go out there and knock it out. Are we fearful of Chris Carson? He's going to get hurt again. You know he is. And they had to overpay him. They have got nothing from Penny.
Chris Carson still plays?
He does. He does. He does still play.
Aldon Smith. I like that way he spelled it.
That's funny.
I like the way he spelled Seahawks better.
Megan said, besides the Niners game in Week 17, is there another matchup that you guys are looking forward to in that Week 17 with all the new games
who else is playing.
You know, I don't. I haven't looked. And the thing is we only know the 17th team they're going to play. We don't know the order. So we don't know what the 17th game is going to be.
It's true. So whoever they set, the 17th opponent, I think, is what.
Okay, so out of the matchups that are going to happen.
Let me see if I can't.
You can bring it up.
If I can pull it up, you guys go through some more.
We figured the schedule is going to come out, middle of May? That's when they're officially going to leave. That's when they did it last year. Kind of the schedule came out, I think, like around the 10th or 9th or 10th, like around there. So that's when we'll finally find out when the 49ers are playing where. Hopefully they don't have to make, a lot of travel like they did last year and the whole, multiple trips to the eastern seaboard.
What emoji did he use there? Chris Carson is a...
That's a fairy. It's a fairy. Tommy, chill.
I like it, Tommy.
You're going to kill Horse with the choking. All right, guys. 17th proposed games. Right. Here they are. Packers, Chiefs. Bears, Raiders. Vikings, Chargers. Lions at Broncos. Seahawks at Steelers. Rams at Ravens. Cardinals at Browns. Obviously, Niners at Bengals. Saints, Titans. Bucks, Colts. Panthers, Texans. Falcons, Jaguars. Washington name redacted's Bills. Giants, Dolphins. Yeah, that was a good one. Cowboys, Patriots. Eagles, Jets.
Packers, Chiefs, the very first one you said.
Yeah. Horse?
Gotta go Cowboys, Patriots. Anytime America's team's on TV, want to watch it.
Against the other America's team?
Yeah.
Is there Patriots?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. No, I agree with you there, Ant. I think one of the ones that really is intriguing to me is that Bucks-Colts game.
Okay.
I'm just interested to see, especially if Carson Wentz has any sort of revamped career aspirations in Indianapolis now, being back with his old coach.
Right.
In a new environment, a new system. If the Colts are having any levels of success, that's a very intriguing matchup, having Wentz and that offense against that Colts defense and Brady.
Yeah, I mean, that one intrigues. I don't think that's not, depending on where it happens in the season, too, it could be big.
Correct.
And where it is it? Oh, so it'll be in Indy. So
yes, it's in Indy.
So they'll be playing inside. So I mean, and he's got
helps Tom
the advantage. You know what? It might matter to us because if the Bucks lose, the 49ers could be jockeying for playoff position. So yeah, I'll be all in for Indy and Buckner getting some sacks on Tom Brady and helping this 49ers out.
I agree with you.
Appreciate it.
Jay Ellie, you're right. 700 subs is incoming, and if you haven't already, for those of you that are out there, hit that subscribe button right now. Help us get over the threshold this stream at this moment. Smash that thing into oblivion. Hit that notification bell while you're down there as well. That way you get notified. All of our videos daily at 11 a.m., Tuesdays, 5:30 p.m., and typically our live streams are on Friday at 6:30 p.m., but today's a special one, obviously.
We just really wanted to see you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, just couldn't wait.
I mean, let's be honest. Let's be completely transparent with our people here. The fact is, we coach football and other sports for a long time.
It's true.
And some of the kids that we're very close with, tomorrow's their last game in high school ever, and we got an opportunity to go watch them, and they really wanted us to be there, and we wanted to be there. So we just went ahead and moved it. Transparency is the key, guys.
We're not hiding anything
We're not hiding anything, but that's why we'll be back at it on Friday next week.
It's a really far reach. We're missing it to watch football.
Yeah, right?
It's true. It's just not professional football. Isn't it the Cards game opener? That would be dumb since that was last season.
I bet they change it up. I don't think it's going to be the opener this year. I would, if I had to guess, I bet we open up with an AFC team. But I don't know that for sure. Just because there's going to be 8 AFC games this year.
What I wonder if it'll be what conference are we playing this year in the AFC? Do we know?
We're playing the North.
AFC
well,
North?
we're playing several, right? Because we're playing the North. We're playing the NFC. Are we playing the South?
I think so. I think it's the South.
Yeah.
Probably.
I think we're playing the NFC North as well.
Chat, school us. Someone from chat, let us know.
Yeah, there's a that's what's going to be big is the
Which
games. I
conferences?
haven't been studying it a whole lot, to be honest. I wait until they put the schedule out before I really get into it, because that way it shows what day, where they're playing, so that way you can kind of get an idea of what the weather is and all that. I mean, I think that's when it really matters. But I mean, it is something big, and it's only a month away before we actually get the schedule.
So close.
Yeah, we're getting there.
So close.
We're getting there.
How many player days away now are we from the NFL draft? How many days are we?
I believe we're YA Tittle away.
Oh my lord.
Yeah.
Nice.
Bill Musgrave away.
Nice.
Brian Greasy?
Yeah. Ray Wershing.
Look at these two go. Go, my dudes.
Oh, you want this to happen right now?
Yeah, go.
I need a tape.
Let's do it. This is one of my all-time favorite things. Whenever we're hanging out, before we started doing the podcast, whenever we're hanging out, these two would just start randomly connecting the dots between
AJ
two.
Feely?
There you go.
Oh gosh, I'm not getting into this right now because it will never stop. But we would go backup quarterbacks, obscure backup quarterbacks, and it would just go on for hours and eventually days, because all of a sudden we'd be together and I'd be like, Bubby Brister. And then he would hit me with another one, and it's nonstop, man. It's just nonstop.
Nonstop. And I always come
Brad
in.
Johnson?
See, there we go.
I'd always come in.
And
just
he's even 14. How about that?
It is.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I like it.
It's incredible. South and the Bengals is what Brad
I'll
Jones
play
said.
myself.
By the way, shout out to Brad Jones. I haven't seen you a lot usually in our chats, so shout out to you for being here
big
today.
time.
Also,
Thanks for being here.
Also made a nice Grant Cone slam earlier.
And his
I don't
name's pretty close to Brad Johnson that I just talked about.
It's true. So I don't know if he heard our
What
Fant
do you
Gones.
say about the cone?
I'll pull it up here and say it here in a second.
Nice.
But no, he made a nice little Grant Cone slam earlier. It was a swear word though.
Yeah.
We're not going to repeat the swear word. But other than that, kudos to you, good sir. Kudos to you. Megan asks, how do you think the matchup with Kamara and Henry will be in that the Titans and the Saints going back and forth? It's going to be interesting.
I think a lot of it is just too early to know. We don't know who the Saints quarterback is going to be.
Yep.
So we don't know what offense they're going to be running.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those are the questions we'll have to know by then. You know what you're getting from the Titans. You're getting a smash mouth. Henry's going to get the ball 25 plus times.
I think the question is going to be what's their defense look like this year?
The Saints?
Oh, Saints and the Titans.
Well, the Saints
Titans
defense,
have a lot of pieces.
Saints have no linebacker. They have one linebacker,
Oh.
one very good linebacker.
Yes,
and then after that, they have nothing.
correct. Horse, what about you, man?
Stump the studs flashback. I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, but I don't really think of that as Henry versus Kamara. Kamara is a great player, but he doesn't carry the team the way Henry carries the Titans.
Yeah.
It's true.
I mean, Kamara, don't get me wrong, I think Kamara is a fantastic player.
Huh?
But he doesn't have to get 25 carries for them to win.
Yeah. I know. J.R. Meadows loves the Wilson to Reed touchdown. Yep.
I mean, if it could happen.
He wants Wilson. I know all of us would like Wilson. But I'll be honest, my Justin Fields appreciation is going up.
Is it now?
It is. I mean, it is. I think every time that I watch a little bit more film on him, I like him. I like the things that he can do. So, definitely.
The Thursday works more for Brad in Australia. It's good to know, Brad. It's good to know. If you get more of your Australian buddies out here, maybe we'll do a special one for you guys.
It is. You know what? We are picking up a lot of Australian listeners also on our, Spotify and all that.
Shout out.
So that is nice. Also New Zealand as well has been making an impact. Canada also jumping in. So
I like it.
It's been nice. We're now being heard, I think, in 19, 20 countries, something like that. So,
it's always good.
Yeah, it is.
It's always
Pretty
good.
impressive.
It is.
It is very impressive. Horace, I got a question for you, my man.
Yes, sir.
I got a question for you. Who had the best mock draft of the three of us?
With me.
I like it.
Wrong answers only. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a
I
lot.
like to stay humble.
It's confidence, Horst,
I
right?
like to stay humble.
Yeah,
That's out of babe.
it is.
Out of babe. I love it. I absolutely love it. Chat, what else you got for us here? Come on. I know you're not all out of questions just quite yet. There's no way.
Yeah.
I mean, you should just right into the microphone. Let those people hear that sweet, sultry
Lance
voice.
Wilson or Fields?
Is he talking about Lance Bass or Lance?
I think we're talking about Trey Lance. Horst.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not your.
Either way, Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. In my order, it's Wilson, Fields, Lance.
Yep.
Agreed.
Wilson, Fields, Lance.
And the reason is because mine probably goes Wilson, Trevor, Fields, Lance, to be honest with you.
I mean, yeah, Wilson definitely for me. I've been watching a lot of Wilson film this week too, just in preparation of all the Field stuff that was going to be coming out.
Right.
Because I didn't want to have the Fields overload sensory, oh my God, he looks so incredible. Look at Shanahan and Fields. Oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened in the history of the 49ers. I didn't want to have that overload and have my opinion swayed, so I've been watching a lot of Wilson highlights this week.
Yeah.
And God, man, just even that Coastal Carolina game, I know people have been knocking him a lot on that game.
Yeah.
Man, he really did not look that bad. And his receivers dropped a lot of balls that game.
What is your guys' feelings on De'Ami Brown from North Carolina?
I think he's a second round, low second, high third boomer bust type. I think he's got a lot of tools, but it's a little bit scary because they have a pretty good quarterback down there at North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Howell is his last name?
Yep, correct.
And he wasn't bad. Like, I'm sure he was right around 1,000 yards and all that. But he never was just like, oh my God, we have to face De'Ami Brown this week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think that's how opponents thought of him.
Are you guys concerned that he ran a 4.68 at his pro day?
100%.
Nikes.
Because
slow.
I mean, not only is it slow, if you're running a 4.68, and these are not combine days. So does he run a 4.7?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a chance he runs in the 4.7s, mid 4.7
right.
somewhere. My word.
Yeah.
I mean, don't be surprised now don't be surprised if this guy just doesn't get drafted.
Right, because that was the big knock on Jawan Jennings, is he ran that speed.
Correct.
That is Jawan Jennings' speed, and the big knock on him, and he fell all the way to the 7th round.
He did.
So, I mean, that's really what we're looking at.
No, it's not good.
Right.
It's not good, and I can tell you as someone who's watched some North Carolina games.
Yeah.
I was never afraid of him. I never looked at him and watched his games and thought, at any point, this dude is a problem.
Right.
I was always like, this guy's got some talent, but man, like, I don't know. Horace, what about you?
That's kind of what I was thinking along those same lines. I kind of made that point earlier, he wasn't, oh my gosh, we're facing this guy. He wasn't Jamar Chase. He wasn't Devontae Smith. He wasn't one of those guys. You even had Fehoko from Stanford. It was, man, that dude's 6'5". Do we have anyone that can guard him?
Right.
I mean, to me, he doesn't have any of that. He's not. I'm not saying that guy's not going to make it in the NFL and be a good player.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is, to me, a first-round pick is, oh my God, we have to play that guy.
Mm-hmm.
In college, that's what they look like.
Well, I'll be honest. I've watched film on De'Ami Brown, and to me, nothing spectacular jumped off the film. Nothing. And I grade my guys a certain way and what I want to look at, and he didn't do it for me. I know he does it for a lot of people. Chris Sims had him in his top 5.
Yeah,
and a lot of people like him. I don't see it. I don't see the top end speed. I don't see him getting in and out of his breaks at a good level. I don't see him being able to do a lot of things.
Here's a good one for you, Horace, because I want your take on this, because I've watched a lot of Kadarius Toney at the University of Florida. A lot of people are falling in love with this guy. Think he's going to go really, really early. Good Morning Football on the NFL Network compared him to Deebo Samuel.
I don't know if that's what I see. I think what they're saying there is he's good at screens, fly sweeps, those type of situations.
They used the all-purpose yards, compared it with Deebo's last year, and made that comparison.
So, but to me, Deebo runs, definitely not slow, but he almost runs like a running back, where that guy's relying on speed. Kadarius Toney.
He has broken a lot of tackles,
he's
but
big
it's
for a receiver, but he doesn't run like Deebo.
No, and he's got
I don't think they run that similar.
Deebo's got like 30 pounds on him too,
Mm-hmm.
like 30 pounds easily. And Deebo, I feel, is a more physical presence.
They're completely different, in my opinion.
I agree with you. I thought it was a ridiculous comparison.
Yeah.
They looked at the size, like, oh, same height. Oh, same amount of all-purpose yards.
Yeah.
Oh, Deebo weighs 30 pounds more, but they broke the same amount of tackles. He's basically Deebo Samuel in a smaller frame. And I was like, isn't that the opposite of what Deebo Samuel is? Because he's a smaller guy, 5'11", average height guy in a big muscly frame.
Right.
He's a physical, demanding presence.
That's like saying Peyton Manning and Drew Brees put up similar numbers their career. Oh, they're the same quarterback.
There you go.
I do see, they said, offense early rounds, defense later rounds. That's what Brad was asking. I don't think it matters. I think you're just going to look for the best player that fits your system in that area. I think since they're going, quarterback in the first round, second round could be offense or defense.
I agree with you there. I think it could be either or. I wouldn't be surprised if they go line or, like we just talked about earlier today, Naja Harris go running back. I also wouldn't be shocked if they go with a linebacker or edge rusher in round 2 there.
Depends on who fall. Someone might fall out of the first round. Someone
Absolutely.
could be there.
Absolutely. Are you guys going to do a live tailgate before a Niners game this season? That would be fun.
You know what? That's something we should look into. That would be fun. I'd be down with that.
None of us have a truck.
That's true. We do know a guy.
Of course, we know people with trucks.
It's true.
Yeah.
We do. You're going to do the grilling, Horst? You cooking?
You know who we should get to do it? Casey Niner Kelly. That guy can grill.
Casey Niner Kelly.
What about Gordon Ramsay?
Dude.
You guys think we're popular enough that Gordon Ramsay
No.
will come with us?
But I will tell you this. You got to ask Course about Casey Niner Kelly's tri-tip. Was it not wonderful?
That was a good day.
Look at this guy. Look at the look on his face.
It was.
Was it the best tri-tip you've ever had?
I can't say that because I had tri-tip 2 days ago, and it was the best tri-tip I ever had.
It's up there.
Yeah, it was that good.
It was close. It was close. Did you guys like WrestleMania?
Yes, I enjoyed it.
Yes.
It was fun.
I enjoyed day 2. I didn't get to see day 1.
I watched both of them. It was great.
I actually enjoyed day 1 a little more, but I enjoyed both.
Day 1 was a little bit better. I agree with you.
There you go. There it is. Sage Surratt.
Sage Surratt, yeah.
Surratt out of Minnesota. Thoughts, feelings?
Yep.
Sage Surratt sounds like a alcohol.
No, he's a good player. I think he is. I think he's somebody that's going to be on people's
I love you, Horst.
people's radar. In the 4th, 5th round, bigger receiver.
Rashad Bateman is Horst dude.
Yeah, he is.
Jay Ellie.
Yeah.
Horst, go ahead and talk about him.
He's my dude.
Yes, you love him.
You put him in your top 5.
You did.
Like a year ago.
And that was like a month ago.
What is your deal with time frames?
Yeah,
and
he has a real
time.
problem.
I mean, you called Larry Fitzgerald 91 years old like a month ago. Now Rashad Bateman was in your wide receiver draft from a year ago. Like what is your deal?
Maybe
How does time work in your
Maybe I would
brain?
have drafted him when I was 10.
Now,
You're blowing my mind, man.
Rashad Bateman's, I just think he's more of a second round guy. Maybe 3rd. He's not.
Ooh, Tommy, I like it.
He's not. He doesn't have the explosiveness
Yeah.
to be a first round pick. He runs good routes. He catches the ball. He's tough. He's supposed to be a really good guy, like team leader type guy. Everything about him like that is great. But for his speed, go in the first round, he'd have to be 6'5".
Okay. Fair.
I mean, I don't see anything special about him, to be honest with you.
Nothing jumps off the screen
No.
like in
To me, he should be a 3rd round talent.
Now, granted, we could be wrong on this, right? He could end up
No.
being like what's his face,
No.
Demarius Thomas.
No.
Did you say no before he said his name?
Yeah.
He did. He did say no before I said Demarius.
Because Demarius Thomas had speed
correct.
at a whole nother level. And the reason that we talk about Demarius Thomas mainly is because he played with Peyton Manning.
Do you want me to be?
You mean Tim Tebow?
No, Peyton Manning.
You mean Tim
Do you
Tebow?
want me to be honest with you of who Rashad Bateman reminds me of?
Who?
It's an NFL player.
Who?
Not everything else, but just you're on the field.
Sure.
Kendrick Bourne.
Oh. Dude,
Okay.
that's gross. Does he dance?
I said pure.
Yeah.
I know, pure on
No,
the
I
field.
get it.
No,
I get it.
Listen, you still didn't answer my question. You said pure on the field. And does he dance?
I said pure play.
I mean, I would. If you asked Kendrick Bourne today,
Yeah.
is dancing
I
part
don't
of your
wanna
play
ask
on the
Kendrick
field?
Bourne anything.
Why not?
Jay Ellie's right. He has good hands. I mean,
He
that
does.
is something that he does. He's a possession receiver. But I don't think you take a possession receiver in the 1st or 2nd round, in my opinion. That's just what I think.
Horst, just want you to know, Tommy says he's a professional chef. He'll do the cooking. You're off the hook.
All right.
Do you know Gordon Ramsay? Can you get him there?
No.
Be great. Be absolutely incredible. Leonardo Cruz says Fields played against strong college teams, a point that Horst has brought up numerous times.
Mm-hmm.
O-line with an O-line that was average. I don't know if we agree with the O-line being average.
I think people do think they're average. I
I
think
think-
besides Wyatt Davis, well, I guess they got Myers at center as well.
correct.
I mean, so they got 2 guys that are going to be drafted that,
Their line is definitely not average, but it's not Alabama's line.
Right, it's not
I'll
elite.
agree with that.
Yeah, it's not elite. Wilson played against unknown teams and had surgery on his throwing arm. I hope we get Fields.
That's
Listen,
accurate.
I mean, yes, it's accurate, but I don't really have any concerns with Wilson's arm.
I'm going to throw this out to you, Leonardo. If he wasn't looking good on medical checks, it would have come out by now.
Yeah. I mean, and there's guys, look at Frank Gore with all the ACL tears, and then he comes in and never gets hurt, with an ACL in the NFL. He basically just never gets hurt.
Look at Willis McGahee. That was one of the ugliest injuries I've seen in my whole life.
That's true. Things are different. With the arm, you don't know, of course, that makes you nervous. But I'd rather risk it with an arm than with a mindset like Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion. That would scare me more.
Okay, this is a great question right here. Horse, go ahead and read this one off for us.
What was your guys' favorite game from the 2019 season? Mine was the Saints. Was an hour late for work to finish watching that game. Had to get up at 5:30 a.m. to watch it as well.
That's a story right there. That's a story.
That's dedication.
It is.
That was a good game.
Horse, your favorite one from 2019?
There's so many, and I won't say Saints because that's the one most people expect to hear people say.
It's true.
There's a couple that stick out in my mind. I'm gonna go with two.
All right.
One, even though it was early in the seasons, the Niners were, I think, 2-0 going into this game. And when they just came out and absolutely beat the brakes off the Browns on Monday Night Football.
It's a game, dude.
They were 3-0.
Okay, excuse me. That was the fourth game. They were 3-0.
They were.
Because everyone was unsure. And remember, at that time, people thought the Browns were going to have the year they had this year.
Bingo.
And the 49ers just people were, this is going to be a good game. Could go either way. And they just absolutely steamrolled them. My second one is the regular season game against the Packers.
Well, Megan, there goes your... Nope, not doing it now. Not doing it for you. Wow.
Kind of the same thing as the first one is that everyone, Green Bay, they've beaten these teams, but they've never faced Aaron Rodgers. And once again, their defensive line just absolutely came out and annihilated him.
Those two games hold special places in my heart from that 2019 season. The Browns, that Browns game, I remember exactly where I was because I was literally on a volcano in Hawaii.
Wow.
Volcano National Park, walking, and just letting my family get in front of me as I pulled my phone out of my pocket and watched football, basically. I was watching football on my phone, That's probably an inside joke.
Tommy will get it.
Oh, there you go. But I was watching that game on my phone while we were hiking, and my dad kept getting upset. You're missing it. I was like, yeah, but do you know what's going on right now? And he's like, what? And it was like, Niners are like beating the brakes off the Browns. He's like, what? Like, what do you mean by beating them? I mean, like kicking the living.
Right.
And then as soon as he saw the score, the rest of the hike, him and I were back there behind my fiance and his wife watching as the 49ers were just decimating the Browns instead of enjoying the scenery of the volcano that we were on.
Almost fell in.
Basically, it was real close. Horse, when I told him that, he got really teary-eyed and said, why didn't you just do it? And then the Packers game was actually with my basketball team. It was on for what we call Friendsgiving. Both boys and girls teams, we got together. We celebrated Thanksgiving as a group. But the Niners-Packers game was on that night. And we have like 2 or 3 guys on my boys' team that are huge Packers fans, and we're talking just massive amounts of crap leading up to that night. So just to sit there and watch them eat crow all night long was just incredible. Incredible moment. But my favorite game, honestly, from that season was the NFC Championship game. Because the realization that we were going to the Super Bowl. And like it was happening, like we were going to get back. And the team it felt like a team of destiny at the time. It just felt like it was our time. Man, I cannot recall having that. It had been a long time since I had that feeling about a team or a sport that I watched.
I'm going with the second Seahawks game.
Also,
that game, just the atmosphere, it was amped. Marshawn Lynch was back. He was going to do his thing. And the way that the final sequence worked out, them getting down there to the one, getting the penalty, almost scoring, and then, Greenlaw just stuffing them. It was great.
It was glorious. Man, that 2019 season, I think a fun thing to do, and maybe we should consider this in chat. Let us know what you think about this idea, too. It would be fun to go back through and have a live reaction to some games and let chat vote on the games that we watch. Watch the games, react, comment, all the games going on. That might be a little fun thing to do, especially when there's some lull and some downtime, because that is coming. In terms of actual news and breaking information, that's going to die down here at some point between now and after draft day leading up to minicamp. There's just not going to be a whole lot going on because Niners will have made the moves that they needed to make. And now it's just waiting and seeing what happens.
Doesn't it change the way you look at games, though, if they lost the Super Bowl? Like the way you look at seasons and stuff? I mean, because like when you look back at 94, 89, 88, 84, 81, you just, no matter what, it's great. But the other ones is like, eh.
Yeah, it definitely left a bad taste.
I mean, a bad taste is probably an understatement. I feel like that one hurt. The Chiefs one hurt worse than the Ravens one, for sure.
I don't know. The Ravens one hit me pretty good, too.
Well, I mean, the Raven one hit me really good, but in all honesty, I think a few days later, I looked back at that game and said, to be 100% honest, I don't feel like we should have even been in the game based on how that first half went.
You think so? Because I honestly thought we were way better than the Ravens.
Yeah,
Oh, I thought we were way better than the Ravens, too, but based on how the first half went, I was like, we honestly did. The fact that we even got back into the game, I was like, that was great, because I just didn't think we deserved to even be anywhere near it.
I'm the exact opposite of you.
All right.
Because I think if we play that 2000, it was 12, right? 2012 Niners team plays that 2012 Ravens team 10 weeks in a row, the Niners win at least 7.
Yeah.
And that Chiefs game was a toss-up. That's a good team.
It's a great quarterback. I think, that's the difference.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Flacco, you're like, but, yeah.
I was not scared heading into that 2012 Super Bowl. I thought the Niners were going to roll.
Yeah.
I was confident they were going to, too, until the first
this last one, I thought there was a chance they would lose.
So the Pitts thing is getting thrown around at 3 again. I mean, do you think Shanahan and them would be wasting their time with these pro days if they were going to go Pitts?
No, because you can take Pitts you could possibly get Pitts at 12. You could also possibly get Pitts at 8 or 6 or 5.
Yeah.
You didn't have to go.
I just think if they were targeting him, right, they would not be going through all the extra with the quarterbacks.
Antonio, where is your source on that? Because no one has said the Niners offered up pick 12.
Oh, no, that's going around today.
I mean, listen, it's going around,
Yeah.
but know what else was going around? It was going around that we offered 3 seconds for Matt Stafford.
Yeah, this is coming out all of a sudden. I seen it on like 49ers web zone and all that.
And
that
so,
they offered a first round pick for Darnold before they traded him to Carolina.
There's no way, because if that's the case, the Jets would have taken that.
I just don't understand. Yeah, why wouldn't the Jets take a first round pick this year instead of the package that they got?
Yeah, no.
What else goes around? I might poo when I flush the toilet.
It does. Dude, Shanahan is overrated. I mean,
good talk.
It's an opinion, I guess. What do you how do you back that up? Like what are your things there? What makes you think that? Chiefs Super Bowl still hurts, always will.
I think all of them will. I think anytime you get there and you lose, the 1990 NFC Championship versus the Giants hurts. All the Cowboys ones, the Packers ones, all of them hurt. If you're a huge fan of a team and you make it that far into the playoffs and you lose, those hurt. I hate the Cowboys to this day because of the early 90s.
Yep, it's true.
And that's I finally got to the point where I can listen to Troy Aikman without completely wanting to stab the television. Yeah.
It's true. That's because he's with Joe Buck. I just don't like Buck.
Well, I don't like Joe Buck either.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the reason I muted baseball games.
It's true.
Joe Buck is the reason I live to forget.
Joe Buck is the reason that Horse is unhappy.
Yeah, I think
Horse is unhappy because of Joe Buck.
I think we can all declare that the 49ers are taking a quarterback.
I think so.
It's true. And look, Tommy, hell no, Pitts at 3. I disagree with you. If you hadn't traded up to 3...
I think he's saying hell no to Pitts at 3.
Correct. If you hadn't traded up for Pitts at 3, if you were just sitting there at 3, I can understand taking Pitts at 3.
Yeah.
Ralph, by the way, that'd be a nice move for Philly.
Would be. Takes care of your Zach Ertz.
Oh, Pitts to Philly?
Yeah.
Pitts is so
But Philly's at 12. They're not getting Pitts.
Maybe not at 12.
So it's Caleb's fault.
Well, Caleb is 0-2 because Horsey's only lived long enough to see 2 Super Bowls and lost them both.
So that's Horse.
That is hard.
So it's his fault.
I've been alive for 5.
You have not been alive.
I was 1 month old for the 89.
Oh, yeah.
I was a year old. Excuse me, I was 1 month old for 88. A year old for 89. In kindergarten for 94. Then the other 2.
I think there's no coincidence I was born in the same year the 49ers won their first Super Bowl.
So when are we winning our next one?
I don't know. Probably when I die.
Don't say that. That's not funny. That's not funny. Don't joke. Don't joke.
That's pretty funny.
Somebody was born along the way that's a bad luck person.
It's true. I'm 1-2.
We need to sacrifice them.
I'm 1-2. Maybe it's Caleb. I'm 1-2. Hold on. Wait a minute. Now wait a minute. I was 4 years old when we won.
You know what? You know who I want to blame for this? The Raiders. because they turned Jerry Rice into a loser.
It's true.
The 49ers never lost Super Bowls until they turned Jerry Rice into a loser.
Antonio, I don't disagree with you that Fields probably could be better than Lawrence, but if Fields goes number 1, it won't be because he's better than Lawrence. It'll be because of Lawrence's comments today in SI.
It could be. I mean, you don't know. It also could be because of Urban Meyer.
It's true.
I mean, look at, like, once again, Horst was right. Schottenheimer is a coach there.
It's true.
And they got Darrell Bevel as well.
It's true.
They have both of them.
They have both of them, so they could definitely build an offense and a run game that goes with Fields. So that would make sense. So there you go. I mean,
so maybe Tommy says he's been alive for all 7. So maybe Tommy's Juju. Good luck, Juju just ran out.
Yeah,
maybe it's time.
I have also been alive for all 7.
Both of my dad.
Yeah,
all 3.
Actually, no, I haven't. I was alive for 6.
You know, I know a guy named Fudgehead.
I was born in. I was alive for all 7. Yeah. Apologies.
I was gonna say I know a guy named.
No, you're right. I was alive for 6. I was born in 82, and I wasn't alive for the 81.
You've been lying for all these years.
No, I never said that until right now.
Oh yeah, I bet.
It's true. It doesn't mean I haven't watched the game so many times I know everything that happens.
True.
It's true.
Let's be honest.
I know this guy named Fudgehead. He's also been alive for all 7, and he tells me every day what the 49ers need to do in order to fix everything that's going on and get back to the glory days of old.
Horse, serious question. I don't know if you've seen the 81 Super Bowl enough, Alex.
I've watched it a few times.
Should Joe Montana have been the MVP, or should it have been Ray Wersching?
I actually thought it should have went to one of the defensive players.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Maybe Buns, maybe Ronnie Lott, maybe there were quite a few guys who had big games.
Carlton Williamson had a good game.
Was it Dwayne Board that had the big game on the D-line?
Yeah, he did.
I just wondering because Ray Wersching made a lot of field goals.
Agreed.
He did make a butt ton of field goals that day.
But
can you imagine the football purists rolling over in their grave, giving a Super Bowl MVP to a kicker?
Yeah, back then it wasn't really a thing, and Montana had a good game. Let's not get over it. It's just I was just bringing that up. That it's like.
Let's see here. Niners fan holds Shanahan to a super high standard. His record speaks for itself. Also, blew 2 Super Bowls, sucks at evaluating quarterbacks, horrible decision maker, great play designer, but overrated head coach.
Well, we don't know that yet.
He's been a head coach for how many years?
Well, and the thing is what kind of program did he take over? This wasn't the 49ers roster that Jim Harbaugh took over. Mm-mm. This was a complete cluster. Okay, it was terrible. And
a cluster might actually be a polite way to put it.
There is a reason they said brick by brick. Because they literally had to dismantle this team and completely rebuild it.
Correct.
And they did that. And 2019 was the evidence of that. 2020 was unfortunate because of the injuries. But I can guarantee you, now if they don't have a good year this year and they struggle, then yes, all the heat should be on Kyle Shanahan.
Agreed.
But they're going to have a good year.
I agree.
Holy smokes, Ralph, that's old.
Well, here's the other thing, too. You can say all you want that Shanahan blew 2 Super Bowls.
Every Super Bowl.
The defenses in both of those Super Bowls did not do their job.
Right.
There's been like 100 of them.
Yeah, there has been 100 of them. But listen, the defense didn't do their job.
Right.
So at some point, too, there has to be accountability on both sides of the football. It can't just fall at the feet of one person. Team sports are built that way for a reason.
It can't be the player's fault.
Well, correct. And also, let's be honest, in that Super Bowl, Julian Edelman makes that ridiculous catch. If that catch doesn't happen, there's a good chance that game doesn't end up the way it ended up.
Right.
I mean, that's a freak play that happened in time and space. I mean, it's the same thing with the Bosa play in that Super Bowl.
Right.
Bosa, if they call holding on that play with Bosa where they throw the big shot downfield to Tyreek Hill, that game changes completely.
I'm going to tell you guys something. In that Falcons-Patriots Super Bowl, Matt Ryan gets sacked. If that's Justin Fields, and this is another reason Kyle Shanahan might lean towards a more, mobile quarterback, and he moves outside the pocket and throws the ball away, they kick the field goal, the Patriots can't catch up, and the Falcons win the Super Bowl. Does that not run through his mind? Because a quarterback that's not as mobile, that can't get outside the pocket to get the ball away, can be an issue.
It's true.
I think it's silly to blame that all on one guy.
Agreed with you. Shanahan was
it
20...
Shanahan versus New England?
Yeah, or Shanahan versus the Chiefs? No, it's not Shanahan.
It wasn't even the head coach.
Well,
okay, yeah. He's talking about the Atlanta game.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying anyways, he's extended after blowing a Super Bowl. They lost the Super Bowl. Was it his fault for blowing it? No. Did the players execute the plays on the field? No. If they would have won. But you still went all the way to the Super Bowl. Do people not realize how hard it is to take a team to the Super Bowl?
How close has Atlanta been since then?
Yeah, they haven't.
Haven't even sniffed the playoffs since
No.
then.
Yeah,
That happens
I know.
all the time. There's still teams in the league that haven't made a Super Bowl. Chat. There's still teams who have never made one and probably won't ever make one.
Joseph pointed out Joe Staley was the only holdover. Look at that. That's completely revamping your entire roster.
So saying that, and here's the thing, saying that Shanahan can't develop or evaluate quarterbacks, I'm sorry. Jimmy Garoppolo.
So Shanahan was up 28-3.
That's what I was saying.
Not the Atlanta Falcons. Okay.
Interesting.
It's
It's an interesting take. Jed York's to sell the team. I mean,
what?
I don't know.
Jed York is never going to sell the team.
And I don't think he should.
No, because...
listen, he made his mistakes early as an owner.
Right.
I mean, we can all agree those early days of York,
right.
the York tenure, were atrocious. They were terrible.
Yeah. Well, York was living in Eddie's shadow.
Correct.
And he was trying to be better than Eddie, and he's realized he
was
can't.
also trying to do it differently than Eddie.
Yeah. Well, that is a lot of the push that comes from his parents.
Correct.
Because they are penny pinchers compared to what Eddie D was. Mm-hmm. Eddie D was win at all costs, do what I have to do to win. They are not. They are about the bottom line. And they say some crazy stuff. But this guy's at least putting his money where his mouth is and getting the 49ers the players they need.
Agreed.
Yeah, to be honest, since Jed took over, there's really only been the one horrendous decision, and that was firing Jim Harbaugh. Outside of that, he's made pretty good decisions. This is the second Super Bowl team he's built.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, he's built 2 Super Bowl teams inside 10 years.
All right, well, hey, D-Loc, that makes me feel a little better that you're not blaming Kyle for everything.
Yeah.
But he makes the offensive decision and play calls.
That's true.
I agree with you. Look at what the offense does this year especially, when you got limited quarterback play from Mullins and from C.J. Beathard in terms of the things they can do on the field.
Yeah.
And yet somehow, some way, we were able to put up enough points in a lot of those games to be right in it. And if it hadn't been for their poor decision making and their reads or inability to make think back to that Eagles game. Kyle Shanahan offensively coached his tail off, and Nick Mullins literally threw the ball to an Eagles player. Not to a Niners player that just happened to get picked. We're talking to an opposing player.
Well, I want you to also look at the Super Bowls, okay? Both those, he has leads, right? And that's what everyone's complaint is, that he has leads and they lose them. That is not the offense's job to protect the lead. That is the defense's job to protect the lead.
Correct.
And if you're winning 28-3, all your defense has to do is show up and make tackles, and you will use enough clock.
Make them kick field goals.
Right. That's all you have to do. There should have been no way the Patriots should have came back. That was a defensive problem. That is why the head coach should have taken the lump on that one. As far as the 49ers go, that defense should not have given up that lead, but also the referees should have made a holding call on that big play.
And not just the one. And this is the thing, the article came out about how the 49ers, were expecting the game that got called, the Bucs-Chiefs Super Bowl that just happened, that game that got called, they were expecting that type of game in their game against the Chiefs. The NFL officials, we've all thought this for a long time, have kind of helped decide the ebb and flow of how games are played.
Right.
And they kind of make the styles clash or match up and can make good contests really good or great, or can take games and turn them into blowouts based on how they call games.
Actually, no, Buckner, Armstead, and Ward were not on the Harbaugh Super Bowl. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about going from Super Bowl to Super Bowl.
Listen, Buckner was on the roster.
Right. Buckner was not on the Harbaugh roster.
He was not. They drafted him after.
Just said the same thing.
Yeah.
Sure. Ward, I think Ward was.
Maybe he thought we meant before.
I think there's just a miscommunication of when it was.
Correct.
Yeah.
Ward,
from the previous regime, absolutely.
I was talking about from 12 to 20.
Exactly. I think that's what Joseph was speaking of.
And Ward was drafted by Harbaugh.
No one was drafted by Harbaugh. They were drafted by Balky.
Excuse me. Ward was drafted by Balky.
Yes.
But we got to remember he was drafted as more of a nickel kind of guy. He was
drafted as a nickel corner.
It wasn't until Shanahan and Lynch came in and Saleh came in that he got converted over to safety and started to actually blossom, because as we all know, you guys in this room know exactly how I felt about Jimmy Ward.
Yeah.
I wanted him burned at the stake.
Yeah.
Somebody say steak.
Yeah. I mean, he's saying poor decision, passing up on Watson and Mahomes. Yeah, I mean, when you're looking back on it now, is that a mistake? But you got to
hindsight's 2020, guy.
But you got to remember the plan, right? You draft an interior lineman or a drafted defensive lineman that's going to make an impact. They thought they were getting a Bosa type player. They did not. They got Solomon Thomas, but they thought they were going to get Kirk Cousins. That was the plan. They were going to get Kirk Cousins. It was somebody that Kyle loved, groomed. Was
and that's
happy
honestly,
about getting.
That was also a quarterback that, if you want to talk about a guy that he potentially developed, Kirk Cousins was a guy that he developed.
And
it's a guy that he worked with from day one.
Let's be honest. We don't like Kirk Cousins. We don't want Kirk Cousins. But let's be honest. Kirk Cousins could have got the job done. 100% in Kyle Shanahan's offense, he can get the job done.
Yep. I don't disagree with you there at all whatsoever. Can we also point out, too, from that talking about Mahomes, not taking Mahomes, and things of that nature, there was a lot of heat on the Chiefs, if everyone forgets this, for taking Patrick Mahomes where they took him, because people didn't think he should have gone there.
Right.
People thought that was early for Patrick
There
Mahomes.
was 2 teams that wanted him.
Correct.
In the first round. Mm-hmm. And that was the Saints and the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. And the Chiefs did a monster trade to move up in front of the Saints.
It worked out for the Chiefs, obviously.
Yeah.
But at the time, that was viewed as a bad decision.
He's a gigolo, always on the go.
Spending lots of dough, too. He's riding around on 20 foes.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Many.
We could talk about like ifs, ands, or buts all the time, as far as coaching goes. But, that's just how it goes. And I guarantee you, it's crazy because as a coach, you look back and you always wonder what decisions you could have made, different. And when it comes down to it, you made the best decisions you could at the time. You take the experience, you learn from it, and you move on, and you try to do better the next time.
If you ever play Madden?
Yeah, actually, I was pretty good at it at one point in time.
Not just that, but if you're making your play calling decisions based off Madden.
Scouting.
Oh yeah, they did. Oh yeah, Kyle Shanahan had a breakdown of Patrick Mahomes that basically he was worried about Patrick Mahomes looking to break outside the pocket all the time and throw on the run. And he wasn't the kind of guy he wanted sitting in the pocket making plays. It wasn't what he was looking at. The same thing with Deshaun Watson. Even now, Deshaun Watson is more dangerous when the pocket breaks down than he is inside the pocket.
Correct.
And those aren't exactly what Kyle looks for in his system. It doesn't mean Kyle won't change what he's looking for a little bit, but you have to have pocket presence first.
Great.
Here's the other nuts. I appreciate it.
D-Loc, too, here's the other thing, too. He is not the all-time passing leader at Texas Tech.
Yeah.
So, yes, he has...
Cliff Kingsbury?
It is. Well, actually, I think he's second all-time. I believe he's second all-time.
Graham Harrell?
I believe that's number 1. And neither one of those guys are NFL talents. So, just based off that, in 3 years, if he was so he was so great and everyone knew it, then why isn't he the all-time passing leader at Texas Tech? If he was so, knock out of the park, everyone knew he was great. Nobody knew. It was a shot in the dark. Most of the time with quarterbacks, it is. It's very rare that a guy comes out and he's a for sure fire Hall of Fame stud. It's not how it works.
It doesn't happen anymore. And the thing is are they going to look back on that and be like, yeah, we should have taken Deshaun Watson and we should have taken Patrick Mahomes? Absolutely. How many teams look back and be like, we should have drafted George Kittle. We should have got him in the 3rd round or 4th round. Correct. So for every one of those that they missed, they hit somebody else in a big way. And that's just the way it is. The draft is not an exact science.
It's true. Robert wants to know what we think about Jimmy G and the 3rd pick to the Jets for the 2nd pick. There's no way they do it.
I wouldn't do it. To me, that's not enough value.
Wait.
If you're the Jets, right?
No, if you're the Niners.
Giving up Jimmy G and a 3rd for the Jets 2nd?
Yeah, I don't think so because you can turn around and trade Jimmy for a 2nd-round pick, which is more value. If you look at Jimmy Johnson's chart, a 2nd-round pick and pick 3 is worth more than just getting pick 2. In my opinion.
Fair enough.
By the way, taking C.J. Beathard in the 3rd round because he looked comfortable in an NFL pro-style play-action scheme is a lot different than taking a quarterback in the 1st round.
Correct.
Yeah, let's be honest. If
did anyone actually think when we drafted C.J. Beathard that was the quarterback of the future? Did we all think that when they drafted C.J. that's what they were doing there at pick 3?
I think they were trying to develop him. I think he saw Kirk Cousins in him. He did.
Correct.
He thought he saw Kirk Cousins. Now, he never planned on him being the starter.
No.
He planned on Kirk Cousins being the starter, and Beathard had a similar skill set that could back him up.
Correct.
That's really what he looked at, and that's what he did.
Is Jay Elliott referring to the legendary Colt Brennan?
I think so.
Good old Colt Brennan.
Yeah.
Or Timmy Chang?
Either one of them were very successful.
They were. Good old running gun.
Yeah.
Not
run and shoot.
Not that, Robert.
Harbaugh was a good coach. His problem was the same as Mark Jackson. Couldn't see someone else in the organization, including the owner, as above him organizationally. That's a great breakdown and analysis.
Well, and you got to remember, Harbaugh came from college where he made all the decisions.
Correct.
I want this guy, I want that guy, I want this guy. And he went to the NFL, and most of the time when you're working with the GM, you say, hey, these guys fit my system. That GM goes, okay, we're going to go get these guys. What about this guy? Does he fit your system because I really like him? No. What Balky did was go, I like these guys. Here you go, Jim. Make something happen. Mm-hmm. He basically went out and he got a pizza and he said, make spaghetti. That's really what he did. It didn't make any sense. True. So why wipe him before you poop? It don't make sense.
It doesn't at all. Antonio was also the 49ers still interested in Teddy Bridgewater? They never were. They never were actually interested in bringing Teddy Bridgewater in. They were interested to know what Carolina wanted to do.
I think so. I think they want to know where Carolina wanted to go.
And in all honesty, there's a lot of 49er sites talking about and putting all of this stuff out there and talking about the things that the Niners are doing and the moves they're making, and almost all of them that have been putting this information out have been dead wrong on all of it. So if you're listening to these talking heads talking about what the 49ers are doing or who they've called, they haven't done any of those things. The 49ers don't leak. Front office doesn't leak. So if you're hearing stuff about that they called about this guy, they made an offer on this guy, they did this with this guy, they're doing this with that guy. If it's not coming from a player, Kyle Shanahan or John Lynch, it's a nothing burger. It's nothing. It's not. It hasn't actually happened.
Well, they're doing reconnaissance,
correct?
Right? They're going out there and they're finding out exactly what. Look at this. If they're ready to move Teddy Bridgewater, they're probably going to draft a quarterback. So I know I need to get above them at 8 to get the player that I want. Okay. So you go through and you find out what these guys are doing. You call, about Matthew Stafford and all that to find out who's looking for a quarterback. Hey, Detroit, who else is called? What do we got to do here to you're finding out who's looking for quarterback and then you make your moves accordingly. That's just what I think.
So no, Robert, back to what you said too. I just don't think the Jets would do that. Ant said that he doesn't think it's value. I just don't think the Jets would do it.
In Jimmy Johnson's chart, that's not enough value. Like, it's not enough value.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you're talking about, think about it right now. Most of us have Wilson, Fields, and Lawrence, all graded similar, right?
Yeah.
We're okay with any of those guys.
Probably. Yeah.
So, unless they value Wilson that much more than Fields, that they got to get to 2, I don't know if they do.
True.
I just don't know. Too skinny.
Oh, so you say it was too skinny? It was him.
Me?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm too skinny?
Yeah.
Like right now?
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Well, I mean, why is he
the only person who said that to me?
Why is he too skinny? Tommy realizes he only weighs 20 pounds less than Fields, right?
I don't know if he does.
He does. He weighs 20 pounds less than Fields.
No,
you don't know if Tommy knows.
I don't know if Tommy knows that.
I mean, I don't
want to put words in your mouth, Tommy.
I mean, so you're talking about a little over an inch and a half in height and 20 pounds. You're telling me that Wilson can't put on 10 pounds?
Easily.
Oh, I forget, Lance. My apologies. I mean, I
don't think there's not enough out there with Lance right now to say for certainty that he would be a guy. I think we'll know a little bit more after Pro Day number 2, obviously, and then the Trey Lance is going to the Niners at 3 conversation is going to start.
It's gonna pick up.
Absolutely.
I'm not against. Let's make it clear. And I think I want to know how Alex feels about this.
Which Alex?
You.
Okay.
Would you be okay with any of those 4 guys as the number 3 pick?
No.
You wouldn't?
I don't want Lance at 3.
Oh, you don't want Lance at 3. Okay.
And I don't think you didn't need him. You didn't need to come up to 3 for Lance.
Unless you think he's your Patrick Mahomes
Deshaun
Watson.
If he absolutely blows the ceiling off of Pro Day 2, then I will eat my shorts.
He's going to blow the ceiling off of Pro Day 2, but I don't know if that's the reason he's going to get selected, because I just think he can do better than what he did.
It's true.
Interesting fact about Kellen Mond's background is his family owns the Mondo Burger.
Mondo Burger? From Good Burger Horse?
Yes.
D-Lo, okay, I'm just saying, if Kyle has another losing season, he should be considered overrated. Listen, if he has a losing season this year with the roster they have in place, I don't think overrated is the conversation that's going to be had. I think hot seat and whether or not he's the coach going forward is the conversation that's going to be had.
I agree. He ain't Rosen. Are we going to talk about Rosen today?
No, probably not.
No. Okay, so Zach Wilson's draft profile says he's 6'2" and 1/8 and 210 pounds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's every bit as tall as Justin Fields. I didn't think he was. I thought Fields was a little bit bigger than him, but apparently
I was convinced too.
So it's a 20-pound weight difference.
There you go.
So I don't know if that makes a big difference. I know a lot of people are.
Coward is trying to get his future son-in-law. That's good. That's good. You know what we forgot to talk about earlier? Brad Jones had brought up Mitch Wisniewski and how he felt about Mitch Wisniewski at the punter position. And obviously, as a guy from Australia, he loves the punters.
Right.
How he felt on them. I'm gonna let you two talk about that first because I got a very unique take on Mr. Wisniewski.
You know what? I don't think he's performed to the draft, the level that you picked that he was taken. But I mean, I like him overall. I don't think he's a bad punter. I mean, he's not, Andy Lee. He's not like somebody that we had that was a dominant punter.
It's true.
But overall, I don't think it's been a terrible decision. But I think we could have probably drafted him in the 5th or 6th round, and I would have been more okay with it.
Of course.
Here's the deal. He's my favorite Australian guy on the Niners.
There you go. My Wisniewski take is I don't think he has the leg to be a successful punter in the league.
Yeah.
Much longer than probably after his contract is up.
What's wrong with it? Is it too short? Or?
Yeah, basically. He just doesn't drive the ball downfield. He's not a field flipper. He does not flip the field at all. If you're stuck inside your own 20, you're looking at them getting the ball around the 40, 30-yard line, somewhere in that range, unless it takes a bounce and gets a roll. He's not someone who from his own 10 or from the goal line is going to put the ball in the air hang time inside the other opposing team's 30-yard line, and they're starting at basically what would be kickoff, if you down the ball in the end zone. He's just doesn't have that type of leg. It doesn't translate to flipping the field. And if you're a team that's built on defense, and the Niners have been built on defense, you need a guy at times that can bail you out when the offense stalls a little bit.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you bring in another punter, though?
What other punters out there? That's the question.
There's got to be other ones. Pat McAfee's out there. I mean,
listen. If Pat McAfee wants to come punt for the 49ers, I will help the 49ers pay for that.
First of all, Marquette King's out there.
Okay.
It's true.
People are saying Montana got broken in half.
Yep.
Well, Montana was not 210 pounds, number one.
Correct.
Number two, there were different rules back then. You could break a quarterback in half.
Accurate.
You can't now. And these quarterbacks are taught to get rid of the ball. Does he have the awareness of Joe Montana right now? Absolutely not. Joe Montana was a bona fide Hall of Fame player. He is a Hall of Famer. But maybe the greatest of all time. My greatest of all time. And I'm just like, why are we comparing a rookie quarterback, or who will be a rookie quarterback, to Joe freaking Montana?
Yeah, let's slow down, guys.
49er fans, stop comparing him to those guys that we had. It's like, dude.
Let's let the kid develop. Let's let him have some time.
Since when did 6'2" and 1/8 and 210 pounds mean you are not physically capable to play in the NFL? That's crazy.
Guys, I want to point out that if I was 6'2" and 210 pounds, I would be playing professionally somewhere.
Would you?
Yeah. Easily. Something.
I would be probably in the professional eating.
Pickleball, tennis, golf. I'd be doing something professionally.
I got something to say, but I can't say it on here.
I'm glad.
So,
thank you, live
is that the line of success? Is whoever we draft has to have a Montana-like career?
Yeah, I don't think you can put those, and that's unfortunate for anyone. And I think that's what happened to Alex Smith when he came in, right? Is like. Alex Smith was expected to be Steve Young and Joe Montana, because he was the first pick overall, and we can't put those expectations on these guys.
No,
I mean that's what I feel bad for Fields. If Fields is the pick or Lance is the pick, think about it. Fields is going to be expected to be superstar Cam Newton style the first time he comes in, and Lance is going to be expected to be what? Aaron Rodgers? Patrick Mahomes, what expectations are we putting on these guys? That's crazy to me.
If he turns out to be Aaron Rodgers, it was a bad trade-up. He needs to be better than that.
Yeah.
The trade from 12 to 3 was a panic move. I disagree with you there. I don't think it was a panic move. I think this was a move that they had planned. In all honesty, they didn't give... A panic move would have been giving up 3 years of our future. They gave up 2.
Yeah.
I don't think they overpaid for this. I think they paid the price. They paid the piper, obviously, to move up, but I don't think they overpaid.
Well, I think in 2-3 years from now, somebody's going to be right and somebody's going to be wrong.
Correct.
However it looks, right?
Obviously.
Yeah, it was either a great move or it was a terrible move. And if it was a great move, Kyle and John have more contract extensions coming. And if it was a bad move, they're gone.
Not only they're gone, every 49ers fan all over the world right now that's been questioning Shanahan is going to be able to come out of the woodworks and say, see, we told you so, see, we told you so. And you know what? You'll have every right to at that point. Matter of fact, I know a certain fudge head that'll be very happy if that comes to pass because he thinks this was one of the worst moves. Matter of fact, when the move got made, I got a text message from him that said, Bill Walsh is rolling over in his grave.
Yeah, I don't think it was the worst move ever. I think they saw an opportunity to upgrade. This was the best route. They were looking into Deshaun Watson. Everything happened with that, and they decided to pivot and make this move, and you got to do what you got to do.
Correct. The Niners are trying to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do. For sure.
So you're saying that hit that Montana got hurt on by Leonard wouldn't be a flag right now?
100% it would.
I agree with you that it shouldn't be.
Yes.
But
and we like the old school. But you got to remember, football has changed. Not to mention, Montana was looking downfield to throw. Wilson's running. Wilson's throwing the ball out of bounds. These guys are taught different than they were taught back then. It's a different football.
D-Loke, I agree with you. None of us know a gosh darn thing about what the 49ers want to do or are planning to do.
Bingo.
At all.
Yeah.
It's all speculation, right? I'm a Falcons fan. I don't know if you want a Michael Vick.
Yeah, we're basically just all talking, about what we think, but we don't actually know because Kyle won't even tell his assistant coaches the grades on the quarterbacks.
Yeah, D-Loke, we don't take any of this personal.
Nah.
We enjoy doing
This has been.
We
I
do.
know.
So don't think it's personal. We're having fun.
We've
Yeah,
absolutely enjoyed having this conversation with you. I mean, it's been great. This has been one of the more. This has been one of the more passionate conversations we've had.
Yeah, and Tommy's talking about Michael Vick I know Vick is coming up on it. To me, Justin Fields is nothing like Vick.
No.
To me, they're
they're
polar opposites. Plus, Michael Vick did not watch film. Admittedly,
no, he was just a freak.
He threw the DVDs away. He did not watch it. Justin Fields cares about this stuff. He wants to be the best. That's why he's climbing up on the board of I'm worried about Trevor, and I'm like, Justin's sounding better and better.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially after that interview with SI. Now, Justin Fields, I would hope if something crazy happens and the Jacksonville Jaguars went with a Zach Wilson or something, that the Jets would take Trevor Lawrence and we would get Fields.
Yeah,
I would much rather prefer that. I feel much more comfortable with a Justin Fields and the work ethic.
Right there, you see where it says Montana didn't see the hit coming, saying today's quarterback would throw away, doesn't fit the scenario. It absolutely does. Because in that day, how many quarterbacks slid? How many of them slid? Most of them went head first. Most of them went out of bounds. But football has changed. They teach you now when you're 8 years old to slide. They teach you to throw the ball away when you get outside the hash marks. You couldn't throw the ball away outside the hash marks and it not be intentional grounding like it is today.
Correct.
It's a completely different game.
Yeah.
The 49ers were interested in Watson this offseason, then it makes sense they take Fields or Lance because of the mobility. Agreed.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
That is a great take. 100%. 100%. Vic didn't care about football. I mean, I think he cared later. I think once it got taken away from him, he started to care.
I think that's completely right. He didn't really care about football. He just wanted to make money.
Agreed.
And he was more athletic than everyone else for how long, Horst? And he was like...
I think after watching different stuff on
Garoppolo fries.
On Michael Vick, he was the definition of the guy that wanted to wear the jersey but didn't want to get it dirty.
I think that's
and
fair.
I'm a huge Michael Vick fan. But the early part of his career...
He's missing the point. It's okay.
Well, no, but not just that. Hold on. No, not you. No one. Or no none. He said, why would he have slid? Have you watched Kyler Murray play?
Yeah, he would slide.
Every time he's about to get hit in the pocket, he gets down.
Slide behind the lines.
Every time.
In today's NFL, that play, I know what you're talking about. He rolls around to the right, and he's going to throw, and he sets up to throw. He would have threw the ball out of bounds and prevented the hit from happening because he would have lived to see another day. That's how they coach it now. They didn't coach it then.
You don't have read 1, you don't have read 2, you don't have daylight in front of you on the ground. You don't sit there and try and make a play. Just get rid of the ball. Let's get to the next down. Let's not take a loss here.
Right. They care about too is protecting the player. Get the ball out of your hands and protect yourself so you can get back in the huddle. It wasn't like that then. I guarantee they were coaching Joe to look down the field and continue to throw. And Joe was doing that and wanting to make plays.
Think about what Walsh used to say about footwork and timing.
Yeah.
He was big on the footwork, the steps, the drops. You're here, you have a hitch, you're looking here. Because if this guy's not here on the step, then you hitch. You're going to be here. This guy's the timing route across the middle will be here now. Like, it was taught down to a science with Bill Walsh. You're not going to throw the ball away because your footwork and your timing is all predicated on the routes that are being run. And so if you throw the ball away before the hitch,
Well, and you're
not going to hit that guy.
I've watched these games over and over and over. If Joe Montana, he threw the ball away when he got out of bounds, but he had to have a receiver in the area. Correct. Or it's intentional grounding. Correct. So.
Agreed there. The coat is Brock Osweiler, silly. That's funny stuff. Alex thinks Russell Wilson is the GOAT. No. I think he's a good quarterback, though. Really good quarterback. One of the best in the NFL.
I agree with that. Stafford will be the fourth best quarterback if they get Fields.
He might be the fourth best quarterback even if Jimmy Garoppolo is the starter.
You think so?
Might be. There's an argument to be made.
Yeah.
No, you're missing the point. You didn't slide because you didn't see the hit coming. Players today don't like just because of time clock. They slide when contact is coming.
None's got you.
It's okay. I understand what he's
saying.
Saying.
Just disagree.
He's saying no matter what, he couldn't see it coming, so obviously he couldn't throw it away. And he doesn't get the point that he would never stop to set up to throw the ball. He would have just on the run threw it away in today's football. But we can agree to disagree on what we see. That's fine. That's fine. He's blindside hits happen. You're right. They're hard to see. What I'm saying is it's just coach. We're just at a different angle. It's coached differently now than it was then.
Well, not just
Joe
that,
was setting up to throw the ball.
Well, not just that, but blindside hits like that too, with the viciousness and the veracity of that hit. There's a good chance it would have got flagged anyway.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, though, he's still hurt. But we can't sit here and say that's going to happen to Wilson because it happened to Montana.
Correct.
We can't say that a safety is going to come and put his helmet straight on Zach Wilson's helmet and concussion is going to happen like it happened to Steve Young. Though you just don't know. You can't go off that.
Okay, it's true.
Horst,
D-Loke wants to know how you guys feel about this cornerback room. He's high on J.C. Horn, but most likely he's going to be taken mid to late first round. He likes Asante Samuel Jr. later.
I like a lot of good quarterbacks or cornerbacks in this draft. Horn's good. Samuel, if you're talking late first, early second. Of course, I like why am I blanking on his name?
Surtain
and
Caleb Farley. Sorry, I forgot your favorite guy's Caleb Farley.
Caleb Farley. I like. There's none of them really of those top group that I don't like.
Yeah.
Other guys I like are Paulson Adebo, Trill Williams,
Bang Bang Hood Gang,
Benjamin St. Just.
Yeah, Benjamin St. Just. There's a couple more. I like Bynum from Cal. I know you don't, but I do. And then if you want to count Molden as a corner.
Yeah, I think as a nickel corner.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. I think the cornerback room's obviously really deep.
Right.
Which is why I don't think the Niners necessarily have to go early with one. But yeah, I mean, the cornerback group, there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah.
Will Warner's brother get drafted? Probably not. I don't think he will.
Like it.
It's not looking good for him. I think he's going to get undrafted, and you would think the 49ers would have the leg up if they want him.
God.
What? If the Cardinals draft Horner Surtain, they will be tough to beat. Maybe. We'll see.
I mean, I just don't think they're going to be able to draft them. I mean, I really don't. They're going to go 10 to 23, somewhere in there.
Probably.
Probably.
I don't think they could get a guy like that.
Yeah.
Don't think they will.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much on the same. We're on the same point. I think now. I mean, I agree with the blindside thing. We're on it. We're just saying it different. Part of it is because I'm looking at it like I know we had the other guy that said he coaches in college and he would take out quarterbacks. We're looking at it from a coaching angle too because things have changed. We all coach, so we understand as well. So yeah, I get what you're saying 100%. That was a brutal hit, and I think those type of brutal hits took out a lot of quarterbacks and I think that's why they're trying to change it.
And I think we all would agree with you there. Montana's size didn't save him from that hit. I don't think it would have saved a lot of people from that hit.
Yeah, you know what, and it does. I mean, when you're a little bit more frail, it'll get you. Montana, that was one of his issues. I mean, there's a reason, that they always made fun of his legs. You know what I mean? Because he was skinny.
Hurston Key got waived today.
Yeah, it did. From the Raiders.
For good reason.
Really?
Okay. If you don't make it in front of John Gruden,
I'll tell you what, man. That Hurston Key guy.
Caleb said he likes Caleb Farley's name, Horst.
I'm shocked.
Now, does he like the Caleb or the Farley?
Horst thinks cornerbacks are divas. That's probably true.
True.
Yeah.
More so than the quarterbacks first?
My favorite thing that corners do is when they're beat and the receiver still doesn't catch the ball and they stop and go. That's my favorite thing.
I mean, it's pretty.
Does he think they're going to take
Who?
Naja Harris? Do you think they're going to take him in the first round? Do you see that?
Oh, from D-Look. I think the Cardinals are going to take Naja Harris, and I'm pissed. If he thinks first round, that'd be a little shocking.
Could happen.
I could.
It could.
Could you? I mean, yeah. I could see them doing that. That seems like a Cardinals thing to do.
I would be really surprised if they don't go offensive line.
I think
or cornerback. But
I feel those are the two spots they have to hit, right?
All right, Big Low Country Sports.
Hey,
Thanks
man.
for checking it out.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Absolutely. No, I mean, guys, this is interesting, man. And the draft is so freaking close. I mean, at this point, every single 49ers fan is just on pins and needles.
Right. They really are.
I mean, we're looking forward to what could happen, all the possibilities, the potentialities, what other teams are going to do, especially in the NFC West. What are these other teams? What kind of moves are they going to try and make to keep up? Because with the Niners coming up to 3, I know some 49ers fans feel like this is a move for right now. I still am not convinced that this is a move for right now. I think this is a move for the quarterback for the future. They're trying to make sure that they have a young guy in place now, so that way they have the cap space and the flexibility to bring back these star defensive key players and wide receivers that they have on the roster for years to come, and ensure they have solid talent, top to bottom, throughout the roster.
Yeah, I think the draft is going to be the 49ers hold all the keys. I mean, they really do. Whatever they decide to do at 3 is going to shape the draft.
True, and but do they even need a quarterback? They have Rosen.
Yeah, they 100% need a quarterback.
Listen to me. Don't do this to me. You've been pulling on my heartstrings.
I want to hear your
for months.
breakdown of Rosen. You've never given it to us.
I'm aware, because every time we start to talk about Rosen, something comes up and we have to end the podcast.
I have no idea.
You've never tried to talk about Josh
This
Rosen.
is a bunch of malarkey. Every single week, I go into my tirade about how Josh Rosen has something like 12 starts. Josh Rosen.
Oh.
He has got like 12 starts under his belt.
All right,
okay?
guys.
Don't you do it. We're not out of time.
You know what? Yep, my watch says we're out of time.
There's no watch there.
All
right, sorry, Josh Rosen, we're out of time, but don't worry, we'll get you on the next one. I agree. I promise. 100%.
You've promised like the last 4 times.
It's that time. You know what time it is? Let's chalk another one up.
Don't chalk another one up.
Sorry, Josh. We got you on the next one.
You son of a...
Yeah.
From the alley-oops at Kezar to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk that. It's the 49ers.